You guys know that the Celtics won the NBA championship the other day?
Hey.
I don't know if I don't think I knew that. Did you?
Hey. Gio's looking a lot different today.
Hi, guys. I am Gio.
Gio suddenly has a beard, a mustache.
Yeah, we got to give.
Yo, the fact that I grew a beard in the span of a couple episodes is kind of crazy.
Gio also sounds a lot deeper voice-wise.
He also got about 2 feet shorter.
Yeah.
Did you know?
Gio's also wearing a tank top.
Did you know that I got shorter and I decided to go to the gym?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can't tell, neither can I. Anyways.
But, you know, I didn't know the Celtics won the NBA championship. I had no idea.
Well,
Yeah.
now you know.
I thought it was
Yeah.
I thought it was Russell Russell Westbrook's new team, the Shanghai Sharks. I thought it was the Shanghai Sharks.
San Clay to Shanghai. All right,
Where Russ is playing now full time. Russ is playing there full
It's crazy how you're talking
time.
about Westbrook like that. It's honestly insane.
He said Westbrook. You heard that?
Sorry, I'm the biggest Westbrook fan. Number one Westbrook fan. If you guys see my Twitter, at Westbrook fan, or also known as at Gio_Scoo. Scoo.
At Gio_Skew.
You know what that,
Scoo.
you know what that reminds me of? Have you seen that video of the girl in Liverpool? She's like, it's not funny, I go skew.
It's not funny. I got
Wait, really?
I go skew.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. But what's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode number 12 of the Floor Spacer podcast. Tyler Schwartz, Anthony Cavino, and new and improved Giovanni Squatteri coming at you from the studio. How we doing today, lads? Antoine, get off your phone, you donut.
Bro, why are you always on your
I'm
phone?
putting you on the spot
I'm
on pod.
I'm looking at a graphic from
Nah.
the Knicks lineup back in I think like 2000 and like
Yo, you're funny, man.
14
You're real funny, man.
with they were playing George Hill, who had blonde hair at the time from their blonde draft. You should watch that.
Yes,
But
you
the
should.
Knicks brought out a starting five of Jerry and Grant, Sasha Vujacic, Robin Lopez, Derrick Williams, and Clay Anthony Early.
What is that?
What is
team?
that?
Here's one more time.
Jerry and Grant, starting point guard with Sasha Vujacic at the 2.
Nets legend.
Robin Lopez at center, Derrick Williams, and Clay Anthony Early.
I know Lopez.
And then the
My uncle.
Pacers had George Hill with the blonde hair,
Oh.
Monte Ellis,
Yep.
Jan Mahimi, if you remember him,
I do.
Lavoy Allen,
I do.
I don't.
I do.
and then the last starter was PG, who's now a 76er.
Yes.
Surprise.
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 But yeah, no, we'll get into that later on to the episode. But in all actuality, we do have a special guest joining us on the screen. For those of you that haven't figured it out, go see an eye doctor. But we got the main man, Kevin Zamora, the world's shortest
hold
man
on.
in the studio today.
That's an insult to blind people. What if you got to respect the blind people that can't see him?
I can see clearly now. So, you guys don't know what you do.
They might not know it's
What you doing, young
somebody
blood?
else. You gotta
What you doing,
respect
young
them.
blood?
You never know.
Get your
Anyways,
eyes checked. That's what
you guys don't know,
respect.
I am a Twitch streamer, entrepreneur, model, and also comedian. But I'm replacing Gio today because he's just done a horrible job. I tried to get Anthony's job because I heard of the shorts. You know, y'all don't like him. I don't like him. But that's why I'm here, for comedic relief because Anthony can't do the job right. Anyway, so,
I thought Gio's there, not.
well, we try to replace you, but that's why I'm here because Gio was nice enough to tell me, take a seat.
Gio went out on loan.
He went out on loan.
He went on loan to Shanghai Sharks.
Do you mind saying hello in Chinese?
Yeah, come over here. Gio
Do you know how to say hi, hello in Chinese?
in Chinese.
You know what?
Did you really?
Wait, you know how it's you know what hello in Chinese is?
Ni hao ma?
Russell Westbrook.
Oh.
Bro.
Oh.
You no way.
Oh.
I'm not laughing.
Oh.
I know. We're sorry.
Why are you hurting his feelings, bro? But,
Oh.
all right, so do you tell the audience how you say hello in Mandarin?
No, we know how to say hello. It's ni hao, right, guys?
Yes.
No.
Yes, it is.
Ni hao.
Yes.
Ni hao ma. Anyway, so.
So what's on the agenda today?
We got a lot to get into today, actually. Obviously, the last time we talked, we did our free agency predictions and everything of that nature. We talked about the massive blockbuster trade that happened with the Nets and the Knicks. The Nets obviously won. We have the draft coverage because obviously the draft happened last Wednesday and Thursday at the time of recording. We're going to talk about the injury to the lovely Tingus Pingus. We got a lot of signings and trades, most notably the Pelicans and Hawks engaged in a big blockbuster. We'll talk about that. We have just a breakdown generally of the first day of free agency, any signings and trades that happened then. And it's Antoine's turn for shower thoughts this week. So hopefully it's a good question. So
Let's get the towels going.
yeah. Any before we get in, anything else from you guys?
No.
I'm getting sent to Shanghai, surprisingly. But, I mean, it's crazy how the NBA draft went. To be honest, I didn't know the NBA draft was a couple days ago. But thanks to Gio and his goofy self, I decided to put myself in the draft. And now I'm going to the Lakers. But yeah.
Yeah, Kev, for those that don't know, Kev actually got selected with the special 69th pick in the NBA draft.
And I'm going after Spud Webb's record of the shortest man.
Weckard?
Weckard.
I thought it was Earl Boykins.
Was it
the shortest?
Spud Webb.
Spud Webb was the shortest.
Spud Webb is the second shortest guy in NBA history, just behind Kev.
See, guys, that's what I'm saying. Anthony doesn't even know his information like that,
Yep.
bro. I do.
don't.
I just know that I'm nice like that either. Like, if you guys didn't watch that either, Gio and I also did a 1v1.
Well, you know what we're going to do?
No. You stay over there. You stay over there. You stay over there. You stay over there.
We are going to link Kev's video down in the description. Go watch Kev absolutely destroy Gio in a 1v1
on the cruise.
on a cruise ship.
And
nonetheless.
apparently, I'm the next victim on the next cruise. But
You
we
are.
do go on one.
That
So
was coming, bro. I knew it was coming.
I am the next victim.
you knew it was going to happen, but
Wait, you
Guys,
should wait.
I'm on the other
You
camera now.
you should also link the game we played in Florida on the court.
oh yeah, the one
video.
from James. Yeah, I'll link
Yeah.
both videos down in the description.
Yeah.
You guys should
Won that one?
definitely go watch it.
No,
James
James
did.
won that
Oh,
one.
James, yeah.
James
James try
exposed me on the last
Let's think about
one.
it like here. We don't know this guy, but Moses got 0 points, 1v1ing James.
Oh, you could
I
link
got-
that one too.
I got 12
Yeah.
points.
Yo, I don't know what he's
Listen,
talking about, but that's cap.
You could link that.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was saying. I don't even know what he's talking
Out of a
about.
7-game series.
This is my first day meeting this guy. Like, I don't even know him. It's my first day meeting him.
Get ready to learn.
Wait, what's your name? What's your name again?
Where am I looking at?
All right, welcome back, Gio.
Yeah.
But yeah, any final thoughts before we get into this?
Let's get started.
All right, let's go. All right, into the first segment. And we're just gonna jump right in. We had the NBA draft, 2024 NBA draft back on Wednesday and Thursday. This was the first time we've ever seen it go 2 days instead of just all 60 picks on one night. It was definitely a less interesting one compared to last year's. Obviously, with all the all-time talents like Wembanyama and Brandon Miller and the Thompson twins and Scoot and everything like that. This year, there was a little bit of drama involved with the number 1 pick between the Hawks and Alex Sarr. They just couldn't get a workout with him. Sarr's agency did not want him going to Atlanta. Not sure why, considering the Wizards, where he wound up going, is a much worse situation for him, even though they're going to be a good team still. A little perplexing. And we have seen teams take the chance, like Paolo didn't work out with the Magic, but they still took him, and they're thriving now. And just to kind of give you guys a little breakdown of just the top 10 picks. So the Hawks, we'll put it on the screen actually.
Yeah.
So the Hawks first overall took Zachary Risacher from France. The Wizards, as I mentioned, took Alex Sarr with the second pick. The Rockets at 3 got Reed Shepherd from Kentucky. I don't remember the word I was going to say. He's arguably the best shooter in this draft class. The Spurs took Stephon Castle at 4. The Pistons took Ron Holland at 5, which I was not expecting. I was expecting him to slide down a little bit further. The Hornets at 6 took Tijane Salaun. I definitely pronounced that wrong.
Salon.
I'm not gonna lie.
Salon.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the
he's
third
just-
best French guy in that class.
Exactly,
Okay.
yeah. The fact that the third best is still 6th.
No, that's
is nuts.
crazy.
Yeah.
The Blazers took Klingon at 7, Donovan Klingon. The Spurs drafted Rob Dillingham at 8, but they wound up flipping him to Minnesota for
Man.
2 future firsts.
Yep.
The Grizzlies took Zach Edey at 9, FDU's son, like top
Yeah.
10. Ain't that sick? And then rounding out the top 10, the Jazz took Cody Williams out of Colorado.
Yep.
I'll go over to you first, Antoine. Just your general thoughts on this year's NBA draft. Anything stand out? Anything of note from you?
I think the big thing is that we saw a lot of trades more than usual. Teams were moving up, but if it was like 1 or 2 spots, Memphis tried to move up to get Klingon. That failed. Trailblazers stayed there to Klingon, and then Memphis kind of panicked, I think, with Zach Edey at 9. I don't think they needed to take him so high. I think he was like going in the late first round in mocks like a lot of the time.
No, his stock got up since the combine. I think he was going.
I
think he was going around like 15.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was thinking out of top 10, not top 10 for Edey,
Right.
at all. But I think Memphis kind of panic move there with that. But he's still great.
Well, that's the thing
But
with
I
this
don't
draft. This draft is really based on fit. There's no
Yeah.
best available. Really,
I think that top 10 was. I think it went the way. I think the only shocking one was Holland going 5th. I don't think anyone had him going there, especially with Klingon on the board and who else? Klingon, Edey, even Dillingham. But I think Blazers definitely got their center in the future with Klingon. Spurs got Stephon Castle. It would have been great to see with him and Dillingham, but they moved him right to Minnesota.
Right.
Minnesota got him now to start inside Anthony Edwards.
yeah.
Wizards had 3 firsts. They took Sarr, Bub Carrington, and then Keyshawn George. So they got 3 nice picks for them, setting up for the future. I think Lakers won that draft with Connect. I think that was
They won the draft?
Winning the draft is in. That's a take.
That's
winning the
huge.
draft.
That is a
I
take.
think.
So you telling me that wait, what's his name? Connect?
Klingon and then
Klingon and Connect.
Well, no, Klingon went to the
Best.
Blazers.
Klingon went to Blazers.
Oh,
The Lakers got Dalton Connect.
Dolphin Connect. So you're saying that he's the best player in the draft?
No, but I think he's the most NBA ready one.
Okay.
I think he's 23. He stayed like all 4 years at Tennessee.
You think he's more NBA ready than Klingon?
I think they're both on the same wavelength, but Connect is a shooter.
He is.
Klingon is big body.
Keep in mind that he's not going to a situation where his development's going to be maximized.
I think that's
Right.
the best pick in the first round for value wise.
I disagree.
Wow.
I
That's
think,
a hot take.
Honestly, I think the way the draft kind of fell, I think getting Stephon Castle at 4 is an absolute W. Because
I think 1, 2, and 3 was Shepard, Risa Shea, and Sarr.
I thought he was going to go 3rd. I thought he was going to go to the Rockets.
No, I don't see a point guard fit there with Van Vliet there.
Well, I mean, they took a shooting guard, but even
Yeah.
still, I think he's someone that can play both point and shooting guard.
I want to hear more of the reason why you would say Connect is ready to go.
He fits JJ's system.
Okay.
He's a shooter.
Which is a shooter.
Exactly.
That's
So
it.
you're
Well,
just-
you need depth on that Lakers team because AR is starting. Unless if AR is really bad, you put Connect in.
Right.
If Connect is really actually doing phenomenal as a rookie.
So you're saying he has the most, like, he's most ready to impact his team right away.
Yeah,
for winning.
I think he's like he reminded me of like who was the oldest rookie last year that got drafted? That was I'm trying to remember. It's gonna come back.
I think
but,
the oldest rookie last year was Vasilij Micic, but he was undrafted.
But
So-
I think Connect, and they were saying literally, I think they interviewed Rob Pelinka, and he was saying that when they drafted Connect, JJ was already drawing up plays for him.
Oh wow. I love it.
Oh wait,
I love JJ.
So-
we totally forgot about the biggest deal of the draft has to be Isaiah Collier at 29.
Oh,
yes,
yes.
him too.
I mean,
I
he was
agree.
projected to go like top 10.
Yeah.
He wound up falling all
Yeah.
the way to the end.
Utah had a nice draft with Cody Williams, who I don't know much about, but he's a high
He is
flyer.
a baller, bro. He's
Collier,
so good.
and then they traded up into the second round and drafted Filipowski in the second pick
Filipowski.
of the second round.
We're not
they
gonna
got.
talk about the Filipowski situation because
Okay.
it'll get us in trouble.
Are you
with
talking about
YouTube.
that whole like?
Yeah,
we'll
we don't
just
have
kinda-
to, but
yeah,
we
we
can talk
won't.
about him as a
So,
player.
Yeah, we'll talk about him as a player, but
Yeah, they got three pretty. I think they got 3 first-round picks, 2 of them being top 10 worthy with Collier and Williams, and Filipowski was like a late lottery pick and the first-round guy in the second round they got.
Yeah.
yeah.
Utah got 3 pretty good guys. Like Filipowski's going to be on a second-round contract.
Yeah.
He won't be on a first-round contract like Collier and Williams would be.
Yeah, I know a lot of players like even Jayson Tatum. He was saying a lot of people are going
Yeah.
to regret passing up on Filipowski.
Yeah.
We'll see how that ages.
Well, that's also Duke bias,
Yeah.
to be fair. So
But still,
we'll see. We'll see if
like-
that turns out to be true.
Players know players. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Like
exactly,
they understand what
yes.
it takes, and
Yeah.
if they see a player has what it takes, they're going to say that.
I'm more curious to see the fit of Rob Dillingham on a contender
Oh my goodness!
Right
I
from the
really
go.
need to see that.
because he's not going to start. Obviously, Mike Conley's there for a reason.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're going to get 6-man minutes probably from him, or
I
a
think-
7th man.
I
You can't
think-
take that away from
I
Naji.
think they'll start Dillingham a few times.
What?
Well,
I think Dillingham will step in. That's
Unless, I mean, if Conley gets injured,
Conley's going to play.
Yeah.
Conley is by far their key piece. I mean, it'll be his 18th year in the NBA
Yeah,
this year.
Dillingham is the heir to once he retires.
Oh, absolutely. That's why they traded away a 6th grader for him. So, and excuse me, sorry. I am quite sick this week. 2 interesting picks that I want to get y'all's take on. 3, actually I have 4 for you.
Wow.
First one being Matas Buzelis falling all the way to 11 to Chicago.
That's the they drafted a hometown kid. He was born and raised in Chicago.
That's who I thought the Pistons were going to take at 5.
Yeah, that was a very pissed. But I guess they saw better upside in Holland. Buzelis is very raw. He played for the Ignite. Of course, we know they got shut down early. But another guy that could impact that team for the future is more of a small forward, power forward build. He'll probably slot into DeRozan's spot if when he does leave,
Or Zach LaVine.
or Zach LaVine. Yeah.
Either or.
But I think he's a lot of potential. I think he'll do great there. I think he's going to be a lot. He's going to be a lot more passionate playing for his hometown team.
Yeah.
I think he fell into the right situation there in a rebuilding team. He would have been great on another competing team, but he'll go right into that rebuild with Chicago.
Well, these next 2 are on contenders now. One being Jared McCain, being drafted by the Philadelphia 76ers at 16. Presumably going to start unless they pick up a shooting guard alongside Tyrese Maxey. How do you see that turning out?
I don't think he'll start.
Really?
I don't think he'll start.
Who's going to start over?
You think Kelly
Oh,
Oubre?
man.
Kelly Oubre is going to play either the 3 or the 4.
No,
other
Paul
Wait,
George
PG.
is the 3.
PG's going to play the 3.
And who's playing the 4?
The projected lineup I saw earlier has Maxey, McCain, PG, Kelly Oubre, and Embiid.
Oubre's the 4?
Oubre's
What are the 4
That's
do they
severely
have?
undersized. He's like 6'6".
Yeah, but they have no one else. So
Okay.
they're going to have to start him unless you start Paul Reed, which would be stupid because he's your backup center.
Unless they sign somebody else. Well, Drummond's
Actually,
backup
they
center.
Bias.
That he signed with the Pistons.
Oh, yeah.
So they could
Tobias
start
signed with the Pistons,
they could
yeah.
start Paul Reed and have Andre Drummond as the small ball 5.
Right.
So that could happen. So there's the fit there. And then the other one was Deron Holmes. The Nuggets traded up to 22 to get him from Dayton. You think he was averaging a double-double out of college. How do you see that fitting as, just coming right in as the backup 5 to
Well,
Jokic?
they had a promise to draft him.
Yes, that was
previously.
the team. We all knew that.
So I didn't watch a lot of Dayton, but I knew he was the guy for them this year. He's gonna fill in as that backup center. They need a big body after if Jokic goes out, which he probably won't, but he'll fill in nicely.
They'll be the bench minutes.
Yeah, he'll fill in nicely. I could see a 6-man Nas Reed potentially for him down the line.
That could be cool. I've seen, from what I've seen on reports, he's a Gordon Jokic hybrid.
Aaron Gordon.
Yes.
Jokic hybrid?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, he
imagine
can
that?
fly.
So he's athletic
Yeah.
Jokic.
He is.
Basically.
That's crazy. There's no way.
Could you imagine that? And then the one final pick I want to talk about, who I think is the most underrated player in this draft by far, at number 18, the Magic drafted Tristan Da Silva.
Yeah, De Silva is a guy that when I was watching mocks, he's a pure shooter. He was the best out of Johnny Furphy, who went to Indiana.
Yep.
Deshaun George, who went to Washington, and then I think the other shooter that was another high pick was, it'll come to me, but De Silva was the top, I guess, shooter. He rose up after some workouts. He's like a 6'8".
Okay.
Build.
That's huge.
He'll fit in on that bench really well. They need more shooting. Of course, they have Franz. Franz can shoot. You have KCP, who's more defensively now.
Yep.
So
They're going to allow him to just kind of play his game. He
Yeah.
doesn't have to overdo.
he'll be a backup. He won't start, but he'll be that
No,
rotational
he'll
piece
start.
to come.
Yeah. Knock down threes.
Yeah.
Do you have any early shouts for Rookie of the Year for next season? Which rookie do you see standing out in their first year?
Well, you would really. All right. So the rookie of the year doesn't always go to the best rookie. It
Correct.
goes to the rookie. It goes to the rookie who's on a team where they have the opportunity to show their skills.
Exactly.
So what would you guys say is the rookie on a team where they need him to showcase what he has?
I think the top 3, I could see Stephon Castle getting it easily.
I don't know. It's tough.
And
With
then
Wemby there?
and then Alex Sarr would be second, and then I think Klingon would be third.
Yeah, I definitely have Klingon in my top 3. I
Mm-hmm.
think if Trae Young gets moved, Zachary Reese-Sachet is a really good chance.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't know kind of what else. I think it's really kind of down to those two. I think I think if Topic wasn't injured and he got drafted higher up, I would have probably picked him.
That's another interesting pick. OKC pick. Topic is a borderline starter,
But
if he's healthy.
He's got knee problems.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
He had ACL injury,
Oh yeah.
so he'll be out for like half of the season.
Yeah.
and he'll come back, be SGA's backup, or they could do a point guard, shooting guard,
Or they can move him.
backcourt.
But obviously, the real reason why everyone clicked on this video is to talk about the late second round pick, LeBron James Jr., Bronny James.
Bronny.
Yeah,
There's been a lot of backlash with him getting drafted, obviously not having great college stats.
Really?
As of late second, there was a stat I saw, late second round picks, their stats are just infinitely better than Bronny. Bronny's
Wow.
teammate, who was more productive in college, didn't get drafted. So there's definitely been a lot of, it's classic NBA nepotism. We see it all the time. What are your thoughts on Bronny being drafted with a late second round pick?
I mean, I think Bronny has talent. I think he has NBA talent, and you can like even playing from high school. When he played in high school, he had that NBA talent. You can tell. But I feel like as soon as he had that heart issue, that cardiac arrest, that's kind of when it went downhill because he was trying to rehab from that, come back, getting back into shape and all that. And then the season was right after that. So I feel like he kind of got thrown into it and it was really just too quick for him, tough to adjust. He had no practicing with USC. So it was a tough situation for him to really earn that spot for USC to get minutes to be able to produce stats.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm seeing for Bronny. If he had more of an opportunity with more minutes, I think he would be, nobody would be complaining.
Right.
His stats would be there. So
Okay, that's fair. Very fair point. It's tough because if I was a GM of anyone else, I low-key would have drafted him, and you could have gotten something in return for him because the Lakers would have made a trade.
True.
Obviously, Rich Paul was preventing teams not to draft him, otherwise he's going to go play in Australia,
Yep, he was
which we all knew was bullshit.
he was
wasn't gonna do
calling
that.
every team besides Phoenix and LA. Apparently,
Yeah, because those were the only two teams that he was going to play for.
Yeah.
I knew Phoenix was desperate enough to do it. They didn't wind up doing it, but. Hey, look, man, I don't know. It's tough. There was nothing wrong with Bronny getting drafted or being an undrafted free agent. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think it's just, for me, I don't mind the Bronny talk. I just hate it when ESPN does it.
why?
It's just, the way ESPN talks about things is just so cringe, and it's all just for clicks. When I want to listen to NBA analysis, I want to actually hear the ball knowers talk.
Right.
I don't want to hear drama. I don't want...
Yeah.
I don't want to see Stephen A. do a top 5 list of what Bronny should call LeBron at practice.
yeah, or his dad called.
Did
his
he
dad.
actually do that?
He
Yeah,
did.
he did.
He did. It was on
Like-
First Take.
Yeah.
it's
I'm
just-
interested.
it's just
I'm
not
interested to see how in a few years they handle Bryce because he's projected to be a lottery pick.
Yeah, he's
Really?
a lot better. He's also a lot taller. Bronny's an
yeah.
undersized guard. He's 6'2".
Yeah.
He actually was measured at 6'1" at the combine.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, Bryce is supposed to be a lottery pick.
How tall is he? 6'7"?
Bryce is like 6.
He's a
either
big body.
6'8"
He's a
or
big
6
body.
Yeah, he's like 6'8", I
Big
think.
body. Yeah.
So
I don't know if he'll get as much hype because he's not LeBron Jr., but he's
Yeah.
LeBron's other son.
Yeah.
If he needs a lottery pick, too, he'll get a lot of talk.
you never know. We could be tanking for Bryce that year.
I don't know. I've always
Cool.
thought Bronny was better than Bryce.
No, Bryce is
is
infinitely better.
infinitely
Really?
better.
It's like It's like the
Bryce
height
is
difference between me and
significantly
Kev. It's
better.
like significant.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Kev will cook you though.
Bronny's my first round pick.
But yeah, any final thoughts on the draft?
No. Yeah. Let's move on to free agency.
Let's do it. All right, into the next segment. We got an interesting one here. Not something I really expected to see this come this offseason, but lo and behold, we are here. If you guys remember watching the NBA Finals, I know it might be hard to remember because it was boring as fuck, but at the end of Game 2, I believe, Kristaps Porzingis went up for a block, didn't get it, and landed kind of awkwardly on that right foot, ankle, kind of like somewhere. It was like a lower leg foot injury, and he sat out for games 3 and 4. He played in Game 5, and it turns out he had some like really weird torn ligament, like in his foot ankle. It was very similar to the foot injury I had, except it was a strain. And we found out the other day that he's going to be out 6 months, having surgery. It's a rare injury. It's like really hard to explain. But he will miss the start of the 24-25 season. So I'll ask you, Gio, since you're now in the PT world.
I didn't see the injury.
Well, I'm not talking about the injury itself, but it's a rare foot injury,
Okay.
right? How do you see that playing out for him specifically, and do you think him being out for the first batch of the season will hurt the Celtics?
I'm gonna go based on how well the whole PT, physical therapy, and just the medical side of sports, based on how that's progressing these past like few years. I would say he's gonna be okay for sure. And that's because, like, even if you look at Chet Holmgren, right, he had that crazy foot injury. What was it called?
The Liz Frank.
Yeah, the Liz Frank.
Yeah.
That was like that's also a rare injury as well. But he was back, and now he's looking like he's playing better than he did before.
Yeah, but the Liz Frank's not compared to Porzingis is not.
I don't know
injury. The Liz Frank. The Liz Frank is very common.
It's very common.
It's just a very serious injury.
Right.
Because the Liz Frank supports the arch of your foot.
Right. So it's like.
So if you rupture it, the arch of your foot can completely just collapse in on itself. Yeah. So it says here that the Boston Celtics announced today that center Kristaps Porzingis underwent successful surgery to repair a torn retinaculum and dislocated posterior tibial tendon. The tibial tendon was what I strained.
Okay.
But I don't know what the retinaculum is. I'm definitely pronouncing it wrong.
Yeah.
But that's what the injury is.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't see that he's going to have any major setbacks other than he's just not going to play the beginning of the season.
Right.
I think he's going to be fine.
Okay.
So as long as everything goes well, they don't progress him too quickly. You know what I mean? As long as that process is smooth, he's going to be fine.
Yeah. And I'll ask you, Antoine, what do you think, how do you think this will impact Boston in the beginning of the season?
Oof. I don't think much. I think Horford will hold it down. I think they'll be fairly okay. I don't know who they're back. They're probably going to run out that same lineup in the finals of Drew, Derrick White, Tatum, Brown, Horford.
They have everybody back except some bench players.
Yeah.
But
They'll probably bring back another few guys to run that back. I know Luke Kornet's back on a one-year deal.
yeah, they have him. Their backup bigs are him and Tillman.
Yeah. I know Tillman's still out there. They could bring in they drafted Baylor Shireman, who's more of a big body guy, too, in the first round. I think they'll be fine. It's going to be maybe they're going to need definitely more rebounding help from Tatum, maybe Brown as well. I know Tatum's a little more taller for rebounding. He had almost 10 rebounds almost every game in the finals. But once he's back, they'll be back to that full-strength, 100% team. Interested to see if he'll probably have a minutes restriction like always other players do. But I think he'll be fine. He's come back from injuries. I know he was injured on the Knicks when he first came to us. Yeah. He came back fairly fine. They'll just be without him. You know, they were without him for the finals. It's not going to be any different until he comes back, and they're going to figure out what to do.
Because 5 to 6 months from now, that's
the end of December.
That's December and January.
Oh, wow.
So he's going to miss a while.
Just missing a nice chunk.
It would be cool if he'll be back on the Christmas Day game.
That would be cool because they're definitely going to get one. But don't know. I think we might see him back, I'd say around rivalry week at the end of January when they play whoever.
Yeah.
I don't know who probably Miami, I guess, is because typically rivals week, it's weird. It's like some close town matchups, like I know the Nets Knicks play, the Nuggets and Sixers play. So it's always with the Lakers and Clippers, obviously, or the Lakers and Warriors, Suns Warriors, the whole shebang. But, I guess just early door shouts. What do you kind of see Boston doing next season? Do you think they're going to have, struggles, or is it just going to be rolling through everyone again and route to back-to-back?
I could definitely see back-to-back, but I think now with Philly getting stronger, Orlando, New York, I think the West will be back. It's going to be tougher for them, but I could definitely see conference finals regardless for them.
What about you, Gio?
Yeah, I don't see them winning back-to-back.
That's because you're a Celtics hater.
No, it's because I secretly am a Celtics fan, but whenever I say they're going to lose, they always win.
Okay.
I got you, Kev. Don't even stress.
It's hard to repeat in the NBA.
Yes, especially recently.
There has not been a defending champion since the 2018 Warriors.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it's not easy.
And every champion's not made it out of the second round since.
Yeah.
I don't care. We're going back-to-back.
No, the West is too strong.
It depends on who comes out of the West, man.
Yeah.
It really just depends.
Now, look, if Russ goes to Denver, they're not repeating. That's for sure.
Well, that's the one team that Boston notoriously struggles against. They were the only team that didn't lose to them.
Wait, Boston struggles against Denver?
Boston lost both games to
Oh,
Denver
that's
this
beautiful.
past season.
So then we're set.
So
We're set.
he's not even on the team yet.
He's not even on the team, but he's going
He's
to.
not even on the team.
By tonight,
yet.
but when this video comes out, Russell Westbrook will be on the team. So exactly
3:30 a.m.
8:30 a.m.
No, 3:30 a.m.
3:30 a.m.
8:30.
rest signs.
p.m.
You know, I could see Boston doing either scenario. It's just tough because just knowing the championship hangovers, but they weren't passive. That's kind of like, you see a lot of defending champs get passive because they have to pay guys. So I don't know if they necessarily will. I have a different team going to the finals, but I'm going to save that.
Okay.
Save it for our
I'm going to save that for our
predictions.
predictions. I have a different team going to the finals.
Pacers.
I don't know. It could be something else. Another team could have jumped into the mix.
Okay.
So we'll have to see. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Kev knows.
Kev knows.
He's a Pacer lover now.
What?
Him, not Kev.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna
Tyler's
say, I
a
thought it was
Pacer
me.
lover.
Yeah.
I've
Kev.
always liked Indiana because I was a big Paul George guy growing up.
Yeah.
So he's disappointed me since he left. But
Remember that Paul George dunk where he just like crossed LeBron?
Yes.
Chris Anderson, come here.
yeah,
You remember that?
Yep.
Oh my goodness, that was great.
bro, who doesn't remember that?
I remember I was in 8th grade and I was like in a hotel with a bunch of my friends and we were like, yo, it was crazy.
But yeah, that's the Tingus side done, right? Any final
No.
thoughts on that?
No.
All right, so let's transition to the big storyline of the week. The Atlanta Hawks finally ended the era of the backcourt of Trae Young and Dejounte Murray, as Dejounte Murray's been traded to the New Orleans Pelicans for a package. Not really sure how to describe the package. It involved Larry Nance Jr., Dyson Daniels, and only 2 first-round picks for just Dejounte Murray.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was easily. I know New Orleans was interested last year during the deadline. It was kind of down to the Nets, Lakers, and Pelicans. He wound up staying because the Hawks couldn't get the package they wanted. And essentially, this kind of was the package they got. I mean, to me personally, especially seeing what happened a week and a half ago, this seems like a massive underpay. I think this was a big fleece for the Atlanta Hawks, especially now that they have the number 1 pick in Zachary Rissache. So, yeah, I don't know.
Wait, you think the Hawks got fleeced?
Sorry, I think the Pelicans fleeced. My fault.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say the Pelicans definitely
Yeah.
fleeced.
Right.
I think the Pelicans definitely fleeced in the sense of they didn't give up anything. They gave up 2 measly first-round picks.
Yeah.
Larry Nance.
Larry Nance Jr. is a good asset. to
Dyson's
have.
a former lottery pick, hasn't really panned out.
Well, he's good. He's just he's got good players in front of him.
Yeah.
So I'll go over. Whoever wants to take over can take over.
know.
Just your thoughts
I
on the
think-
trade.
Well, we knew they were going to move 1 of the 2. I think they definitely have more faith in Trae. That's their guy they drafted and traded Luka for in that swap with Dallas. Dejounte, I guess, was the easier one to move because for Trae, you're asking a lot.
DeJounte.
Dejounte.
No.
You're-
DeJounte.
DeJounte.
There you go.
There you go.
Dejounte. They're asking a lot more for Trae, obviously, but I guess you have an easier combo with Dejounte, moving him. So that's what they did, and they got Dejounte's going to be the starting point guard with CJ, Zion, Bi if he's still there.
It's a good lineup.
Really good
And
lineup.
Yves Missi is going to be the starting center since Valanciunas is gone.
Yeah, I don't know
But,
if they make a move for someone else, but we'll have to see.
If
Who do you see?
Bi gets moved, they're going to get a center probably in
Well,
return.
they're in talks right now with the Kings to trade Bi over to Sacramento.
You can get Sabonis probably.
No, the Kings are going to
Who would
contend.
they get in return for BI?
It's going to be My guess is Kevin Herter. My guess is Kevin Herter, some salary, and some picks.
Yeah,
Dang.
yeah.
That's
I don't
what's
like
going to
it.
be. That's all they can do. Because if you roll out a lineup of De'Aaron Fox, you start Malik Monk, Brandon Ingram, Keegan Murray,
And Sabonis.
and Sabonis. That's a really good lineup.
No, but I don't like it for the Pelicans.
Oh, the
though.
Pelicans get
Oh,
no
right,
players in
yeah.
return right now to win.
Yeah.
Well, the Pelicans would get depth. They would get probably, they could really ask for anyone, whether
Yeah.
that's, they're going to get Kevin Herter. He's the definite piece. You can get JaVale McGee as a backup center. You can get Keon Ellis maybe if they're trying to move off of him, which I doubt. So maybe they start him and bring Monk off the bench. So I don't know. But look, the Pelicans, man,
Yeah, I like this move.
they're looking good.
What do you guys think
Yeah.
about the way the 2 stars are going to mesh together, Zion and DeJounte?
I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I think
mean,
they'll be okay.
I think it's going to be a good fit.
Yeah.
CJ's there. CJ's always been great. Bi's still there. We'll see how it works out with him too.
CJ's been piss poor.
And then Yves
as of late.
Nisi is like one of the best big guys in the draft they got as well. He should fit in probably in the starting 5 role. Their bench, they have Alvarado. Herb Jones is there. Don't forget Herb Jones.
He's going to start.
Herb
Yeah.
Jones. Oh, if BI gets traded?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll start.
Obviously.
Yeah, he'll start if BI's gone. Herb's a 6th man,
Okay.
defensive player.
They could
Calvin Murphy.
They're Trey Murphy.
Trey Murphy's
He's saying
there.
Calvin.
Jordan Hawkins is there.
Yep.
They have depth.
Pelicans have a deep team, and I
Yeah.
think they could definitely. If the main thing is just health, and by health we mean Zion.
Zion's eating. Got to get better.
Okay, yeah.
Love that.
I'm sure he got better.
It's probably one of my favorite videos.
I'm sure it got better.
Oh, that one, yeah.
I'm
I
sure
just-
it got better.
I just keep thinking back to when
100%.
the fan threw the chicken wing on the floor, and then the cameraman panned to Zion within
really?
seconds. Yeah,
Interesting.
just Zion just be catching the nastiest strays, man. It's just
Oh, he didn't
No,
even
the
deserve it,
the
bro.
Pels the Pels have too many good players to be bad. So like, even before Dejounte Murray, like they were running out Jonas, Zion, BI, McCollum. Like that's a good starting 5. And their point guard was Alvarado
he was a
Nah,
bad.
or
I
was
think-
it Trey Murphy?
Pretty sure
CJ.
CJ
Oh,
was.
CJ
bringing up
was,
the
and then
ball.
Trey Murphy
CJ
was
was running
running.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have too many good players to be a playing team.
Yeah.
Yeah, but remember the West is stacked, so it's tougher.
Yeah.
That's where it's like a little tricky. And
They'll
for the first trade outside of the the first trade post no Trajan Langdon, I think this was a very good start. So
Yeah.
they're moving in the right direction. Where do you see kind of each team finishing this season, seed wise? What's their ceiling looking like playoff wise for both
Each team meaning.
for the Pelicans and the Hawks?
Okay.
I think they're both playing teams. I think Pels get the higher playing seed.
Yeah.
Really,
I agree,
still
but I
the
think
Pels are a
Hawks.
playing team?
I think Hawks are not.
Hawks are not going to get the higher playing seed.
I think Hawks don't get anywhere.
I don't think the Hawks make the playoffs.
I agree.
I think they might move Trey Young.
No,
They're gonna have to.
I don't see that at
There's
all.
no point in keeping him there. There's no point. This team is moving in the wrong direction. Ever since their conference finals appearance, they've been nothing.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's just left a lot to be desired.
We'll see. Whoever needs a point guard that badly, LA.
Lakers.
Lakers.
The Lakers are interested in Trey Young.
Yeah.
That could be a nice
But the Hawks don't
package.
want D'Lo, so they'll have to find a third team that's willing to
Yeah.
take them on. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know the Nets don't want any business with it.
No.
But look, I see the Hawks blowing it up in like a month or two. I think you'll see Trey Young out in the West Coast. Hawks will probably finish maybe around 12. Like
Yeah.
They'll probably finish higher than us in Chicago. And look, I think with New Orleans, I think they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, they have to.
I see like a 5 or 6 seed
Wow.
in the making for
Yeah.
them. And obviously time will tell. Teams still have a lot of opportunities to get better. But look, I think this was the perfect start. I don't know what Atlanta was thinking, quite frankly. I know your Knicks legend Landry Fields is their GM, but kind of missed the mark on this one, not going to lie.
I don't know what he has up his sleeve to do. I mean, I think the only untouchables they have are, of course, Reece Hachey, Jalen Johnson.
They're the only two.
Capella still got to get moved. I know they want to get off him.
Yeah.
Maybe you throw him in through that trade. DeAndre Hunter's another eye pick they had that's been injured all the time. They moved AJ Griffin as well, was another pick, Duke guy. They moved him to New Orleans.
Yeah.
That's another guy that's going to help New Orleans out. We'll see. They're going to move pieces. They got to draft capital. It's another team like the Wizards that's going to rebuild, and the Nets as well.
You know what this means, Gio? This trade just makes the Mikal Bridges trade look so much better for us.
I'm telling you, the Mikal Bridges trade is going to be better than you think.
For who,
For
them?
sure. For the Knicks.
Oh, no. I'm telling
Yes,
you
it will.
I'm telling you it's not.
I'm telling you, they're going
It's
to
gonna-
be
it's
one of
gonna
the
be.
best defenses we've seen
For like
in a
2
long time.
years. Because think about it. Once those years expires, a couple deep playoff runs, they're not going to afford those guys.
What if they win? Is it worth it?
Well, for
Yes.
one championship, it's worth it, but they're not going to win a championship.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll have
Let's
to
save
see.
it for the season preview.
Yeah. I just love that we got triple the amount of picks for Mikal Bridges than an all-star.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens when you have a one-team only trade you want to go to. You kind of have to give up everything.
No, we were getting a bunch of offers for Mikal.
Yeah.
We just chose the Knicks offer because it was a Godfather offer. So, look, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm excited to see how that pans out. This one should pan out in favor of the Pelicans, whether they win or not,
Yeah.
because they'll have their future picks later on anyways. So yeah, any final thoughts on this?
No, Let's move on to signings.
Let's do it. All right, into the next segment. This should be the final time we talk about a coaching hire for a while. At least I hope. The Pistons were the last to fire and the last to hire now. And they've gone with their third fired coach in a row. They've gone with now former Cavs coach JB Bickerstaff as their next hire. Now, Antoine, I know you liked this hire, as you had mentioned previously in our group chat.
Yeah.
I'll just kind of let you run wild with this. What are your thoughts on it?
I just think for them, JB had to leave that Cleveland team because I feel like just there's a lot of dysfunction going on with him and Mitchell and just even Cleveland's front office itself. I think he's proven he led that team to, 99 wins over 2 seasons, and then, of course, 2 playoff trips in the past year, beating Orlando this year, and then I think they got eliminated first round last year, right?
Yeah, they lost to you guys.
Yeah. Yes, you're right.
See, he's a fake Knicks fan.
I don't have memory like Tyler's about playoff series. That's something I don't have.
That's your only playoff series win.
Yeah. No,
this year.
No, I'm saying at the time it was their only playoff series win. So.
I think they needed somebody that's has experience, veteran guy to come in. I feel like if you're getting an assistant coach that's coming in with also a lot of young guys, it may not gel as well. I think having a veteran that can help develop the young guys, like JB is, and also as a winning head coach, not a losing head coach, step in and just help mold the guys that are already there. Cade, Asor, Jalen Duren. Obviously now Tobias Harris is another veteran that's stepping into the locker room there. Ron Holland's going to be a new draft pick. I think he's going to set a culture for them coming in to not have less than 10 wins. I think that's definitely a starting point. But I think also Borrego drew his name out of the consideration in that job as well. So they were kind of left with, I don't know who else would have, who they interviewed besides Borrego. Obviously Bickerstaff as well. But I think he'll be doing just fine. Okay. I think they're going to give him time. They're not going to fire him after a season again. I think this is Landon's pick, and he's going to stick with them for as long as he can until he needs to make that choice probably to move on. But they're not going to be paying 2 coaches after a year of being there. He'll be there for 3 years, I think, max, and we'll see where they go from there.
Okay, so based on his history, Anthony, why would you make the jump to the conclusion that JB is good for younger players or player development?
Well, look at Evan Mobley in Cleveland.
Okay.
Look at his development. I guess you can also argue Darius Garland was fantastic, had an all-star appearance 2 years ago. Also did fall off, though, tremendously. So I don't know if that's a Darius Garland thing. I don't know if that's a chemistry thing with Donovan Mitchell. Look at Mobley.
Right.
Jared Allen also came there. You could look at Isaac Okoro, and as another guy that stepped up pretty big towards the end of his tenure there in Cleveland.
Yeah.
But I think he's solely responsible for Evan Mobley's development.
Okay.
He helped him grow a lot this season. He should be the starting center next year if Jared Allen's not there. Mm-hmm. We all talked about that before. But, I think he's going to, mold them into a better team, obviously. It can't get worse than what they were last year.
Well, it could.
It definitely could.
It could get, yes, it could get really bad.
It could.
But I don't think that's going to happen.
But if it does, that will be...
he'll be gone.
That will be shocking.
It would.
If it does,
absolutely.
It has to get better. He'll jump in there and just he already has experience. He has had coaching experience too. Yeah. I think that's another thing that probably Langdon loved is just having someone with coaching experience to help these guys. If you're having an assistant come in, it's kind of you're starting from ground zero. A guy's got to learn coaching duties and compete with guys that have been coaches already for several years on their respective teams.
Yeah.
You have a guy that already has 2 years of experience under a successful Cleveland team that made it to the playoffs 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Maybe didn't be successful in getting as far as winning or Eastern Conference Finals for them.
Yeah.
But he led them to 2 respectable good seasons for what they have.
He's solid.
And he's a solid pick.
You know what I view this?
I don't think you went wrong.
Yeah.
With that hiring.
You know what I view this hiring as? I view it as Mark Jackson before Steve Kerr for the Warriors.
Yeah.
You know how the Warriors were, they were figuring things out. Then they draft Curry, Clay, Draymond, all these guys come at one time. And then they have Mark Jackson, and he kind of gets them run on, he gets them on the ball to start off, and then they're like, you know what, we want that next step up. And they get Steve Kerr, and then they go on a rocket, and they just never look back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I see the JB Bickerstaff hiring just like that. I think the Pistons are on their way to just shoot up. Just give them like 3 years. Give them 3 years, and that next coach that comes in, they're gonna go
The
up.
thing, if this was the opposite way, if JB went to Charlotte, there's really nothing to build there in Charlotte right now.
Right.
Besides Brandon Miller, and LaMelo's injury history is not that great.
Yeah.
You have more pieces that are healthy in Detroit to move on from there. With Charlotte, you just have LaMelo, Brandon Miller, Mark Williams is getting better, but it's not a lot there. So I can see why an assistant coach went there, because they could build something over time with those young guys coming in.
Yeah.
I think JB has with Tobias there. You have veterans now as well, joining that young core that have experience. Brandon Miller has 1 season under his belt. He's going into his sophomore season. LaMelo does have more than 2 years, but you're wondering if he's going to be healthy at all to play more than 50 games.
That's a whole other question about LaMelo. Maybe in another podcast we could talk about him.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Because he's interesting. He's an interesting character.
Very polarizing.
Yes. But I wanted to say, I view the hiring also as very safe. It's a very safe hiring. It's not risky at all.
Yeah.
You know, it's like JB. He's not going to win you a championship, but he'll get the job done good enough. I feel like. So we'll see. I don't think I will be shocked if they come out and have either an equal season to what they had last year or worse. I'll be very shocked. So I expect them to improve. Nothing crazy, but take steps in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not the biggest fan of this hire personally.
Okay.
I think they should have gone the assistant coach route and get like a Sam Cassell or a David Adelman. I don't know. I just, based on the way things off the court went in Cleveland, him taking control of just everything. I understand the coach is supposed to do that, but kind of like there's a line between, taking control and just like, being a control freak, kind of like violating at that point. I don't know if the Pistons are necessarily a situation for that kind of coach.
Why you say that?
I think you've seen everything they've been through. It was just a clown show in their front office. Obviously now they've kind of changed. I think you needed a newer, like a more fiery head coach that's going to build up with your players.
Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, because I think the Warriors, like this new CBA, it's not like it was before. Like dynasties are never going to happen, most likely. And you kind of it's going to be hard to just transition to coaches and win with that. You've seen with the past few champions, their coaches have been developing with the teams and with the players. And I think, I don't know. There's just something about this hire I'm not thrilled with, because Cleveland was just fine. They weren't anything threatening. They weren't a threat in the playoffs. I think if the Magic were experienced, I think they beat them easily. So for me, it's tough, and especially with this Pistons team that's kind of in two different mindsets of wanting to develop the young guys, but also trying to compete at some form. The Ron Holland pick doesn't make the most sense because the spacing's going to suck for Cade now.
Yeah.
So, and Cade himself can't stay healthy either. So it's tough. And obviously now they're trapped because they're already paying one guy who isn't even employed anymore the biggest contract the coach has ever made. Yeah. And look, if this doesn't work out, he signed to a 5-year deal. You're going to have to stick with him for now.
We talked about it last episode. This was a Kenny A job, who's now in Cleveland.
This was the perfect job for Kenny.
If JB was still in Cleveland, he probably would have taken this job, I feel like, because Cleveland wouldn't have an opening. But it's unfortunate that Kenny A did go to Cleveland. I don't know why. I don't know why Cleveland stepped away from Borrego. They interviewed him a lot. If Borrego went there, I think this would have been Kenny A's job 100%.
Maybe Borrego's just waiting for another opportunity to come about.
Yeah.
There's definitely going to be coaches on the hot seat this year. So we'll just have to kind of see what happens essentially with that. Because I don't know, man. I think it'll be a fine hire, but I'm not the biggest fan. I think there's better fits for Bickerstaff elsewhere if he had waited. So
wait, so Tyler, let me ask you really quick.
Yeah.
Why do you think that the Pistons hired JB, or like, because I know we're kind of in the dark on why they did, but what would you say is the reason why? I'm
also gonna throw out another interesting thing. JB got hired for another job before Darvin Ham did.
Well, Darvin Ham went back on the Bucks assistant coaching staff in the hopes that they fired Doc Rivers so he can take over. That's why he took the job.
Good point.
So, because he was going to get the job originally, if we had beaten the Bucks in the second round in 2021, Budenholzer was gone, and Darvin Ham would have been promoted as head coach. So he's just kind of unfinished business for him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, can you repeat your question one more time?
Why would you say, or what would be the reason? Let's say you were part of the Pistons organization. What would be a reason that you would want to hire JB?
If I wanted to hire him,
Or why is the reason that you did, like, what is the reason you did hire JB?
did hire JB. I think, look, you tried to compete last year. That went well. So you kind of got to overstep to try and make up for last year. And I think getting a coach that coached in the playoffs is going to help them get there. But I think this is too focused on the short term when the Pistons need to be focused on the long term. And I think JB could easily put them in a hole where they're in trouble. And
I think so.
Yeah.
I view it more as a stepping stone. Because, like, if you look too far in ahead,
Right.
you're going to miss what's right in front of you.
That's
You know
also
what I mean?
putting you up for a risky hire after the fact.
Right.
Just like we did. Because we had Kenny Atkinson, was doing a fine job, not fit to win a championship with us, but we decided to hire Steve Nash. Like if JB builds them up to, a formidable playoff team, they can't whiff on their next coach. Because that's what's important. Because if you whiff on your next coach, you've lost Cade. And you've lost the whole team at that point. So that's kind of my frame of reference. I think there's better jobs fit for JB Bickerstaff. But, you hire who you hire.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's the decision they made. They're going to live with it. I think they'll be happy with it. I just hope it pans out for JB's case, essentially. But where do we see the Pistons finishing this season? I'm curious because
I think-
it could be either or.
I think just below the play-in.
Yeah.
I don't think they make the plan. Just below. Not last place, though.
Ooh, I don't know. I'm
I
so
think
torn.
Second to last place.
Last place is reserved for Charlotte or Chicago.
Yeah.
Brooklyn Nets,
And Brooklyn
last
Nets.
place.
Yeah.
Nets.
Brooklyn, Charlotte, Chicago. I think Wizards and Pistons get better, but not significantly
Yeah.
better.
I agree.
I think we're going to be hilariously bad this season. The Pistons, I don't know, man. Like they could do anything. they can go 0-82. They could fuck around and get the 1 seed.
What?
No.
I was going to say.
They're not
but
getting the 1
I think
seed.
their ceiling is playing.
Okay.
Ceiling's like the 9-10 seed.
That would be cool.
I think you know what? They might just do it.
So is that your prediction right now?
I'm going to say the 11 seed. I'll play it safe.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
they're going to
can
get better.
change. See whoever else they get.
Yeah.
They got a nice young core. I just feel like this young core is going to be mismanaged so bad by not just JB Bickerstaff, but I think by the Pistons front office.
Okay.
So Trajan Langdon's got a lot of work to do. Troy Weaver fucked up a lot.
Yeah.
So
Who's now in Washington? Hopefully he doesn't fuck that up.
yeah, one can only hope
Yeah.
with that. But any final thoughts on this hiring, on the Pistons, on anything?
No.
Nope.
Should I drop some news that we just got?
Go for it, bro. We might as well.
Jayson Tatum signed to Supermax.
Ooh, 360, right?
5-year, $315.
Wow.
That's a lot of
So
money.
the largest contracts in NBA history are now both Celtics players. Jaylen Brown.
I'm pretty sure
Jayson Tatum.
I think AD makes more than Jaylen Brown. No.
No. I think Will just tweeted that they have Brown and Tatum have the 2 largest contracts in NBA history.
$63 million average annual value for
So-
Jayson Tatum.
The Celtics locked up their 2 players today, which were White and Tatum. So everyone's there now for 5 years plus.
Back to back, baby.
Oh, besides Tingus.
Yes, but well,
Tingus.
I think they signed him when they traded for him because he
I
was
think
on
he
an
has 2 or
expiring
3
year.
years.
Yeah,
Right now, Porzingis
Yeah.
coming back is going to do the greatest performance of all time. He's going to become Michael Jordan. that fever game. He's going to become
Tingus Jordan
Tingus Jordan.
or Michael Pingus,
Kristaps Jordan.
Kristaps Jordan.
Kristaps Jordan.
Oh, man.
That's crazy. $63 million. I'm pretty sure in his final year he's going to make anywhere from 70 to 80 mil of that
Wow.
contract. That's
So
nuts.
it's going to go up in value every year.
Presumably, yeah. Stars don't front load their contracts.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Congratulations to Jayson Tatum, man. Only 19 years old and making $315 million in the next half decade. That's insane. So, but yeah, I think it's time to move on to free agency. All right, into the main bulk part segment, whatever the hell you want to call it, of the episode. It's time to talk about free agency. This is the most exciting time of year, every year, where, a lot of movement, a lot of changes, a lot of everything.
A lot of NBA realignment.
A lot of NBA realignment. So, We're just going to basically scan through a lot of these signings. We're just going to go in any order we want. I have a bunch of them here for us to talk about. However, the first one we're going to talk about happened before free agency, and it happened to a man that was freed from the prison that is the New York Knicks. Immanuel Quickley has signed a 5-year, $175 million contract with the Toronto Raptors. So
That's a lot of money for him, bro.
he was involved in the OG trade with RJ Barrett.
Yeah.
Yep.
And look, I mean, he was clearly going to be their point guard going forward, the heir to the Fred VanVleet throne. Just obviously, I'll go to you first, Antoine, since you are a Knicks fan,
Yeah.
a fake Knicks fan as per Gio.
Sure.
What are your thoughts on this signing for OG?
Listen, I love that trade, but giving up IQ was the stinger. Obviously, he was the sixth man behind Brunson. He was the guy that got the most minutes. Loved IQ. He was just a prototypical Knick, just played hard, played 110%. RJ, I didn't really care for. RJ had his ups and downs. We were more upset with IQ leaving, but you gave him up for OG. You had to do it. He got his money. He got definitely what he deserved. He's going to be the starting point guard there for 5 years. He's going to lead that rebuild with Scotty, RJ, and whoever else. Grady Dick, I guess, is another guy. But Scotty, IQ, and RJ is the three of them for the future with, I guess, Jakob Poeltl. They're going to have some dark years probably ahead. They're not going to compete anytime soon, I don't think. Give him a few years to add up draft capital. But they needed to bring him back. He's all over the court. He rebounds. He passes the ball. He scores. Deep threat, three-point guy. Also has his off nights. He can be really bad from the field shooting-wise.
Who? OG?
IQ.
Oh, IQ.
He could be really bad and really off. But I think he's going to be more consistent because he's going to be starting there.
Yeah.
So I think it's a win-win for both sides. He's going to be great for them. We could see most improved probably votes for him next year.
Who won this trade? I mean, yeah.
Who won the trade for us in New York? New York.
New York won?
New York
With
won the
OG?
trade. Yes.
Okay.
I think the package that Toronto wanted for OG, they didn't get it. I think the Knicks underpaid in that sense. So I do think the Knicks win the trade in the sense of OG. However, after the contract we saw that man sign, Toronto's kind of got a little bit more promise in that trade as far as the result goes because you just paid him a max contract.
Right.
So he's
How much is OG getting?
42.5 per
42
year.
and a half.
Wow.
Which means
RJ's also on his rookie Supermax.
Wow.
IQ just signed his rookie Supermax.
right.
So I think they're both making combined. I think there was a tweet I saw that IQ and RJ making just a little more over Brunson and McCall combined right now.
But in 2 years, they're both going to
Yeah.
get paid significantly more as far as that goes.
Yeah,
but
so
again,
that'll go down for them.
130 million combined for 4 non-All-Stars for both
Wow.
sides is a
It's
lot.
a lot.
It's a
That's
lot.
big money.
Yeah.
Can I drop some news we just got
Please
right
do.
Go for it, yeah.
Magic have made another move.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
They are re-signing Goga Bitadze to a 3-year,
Yes.
$25 million deal.
I'm glad he stayed because they have no center.
So Goga's back. That's another Knicks guy that the Knicks wanted. Just Magic loading up on their bigs.
Oh, is this Goo Goo Gaga?
This is
Yeah.
Goo Goo Gaga.
Okay.
This is Goo Goo Gaga.
So
Let's go.
Magic now have Wendell back and Goga,
Okay.
Yeah.
which I think that'll be deeper.
We'll talk about the Magic more in a little bit.
Yeah, but Goga's back.
But yeah, as far as the Raptors with Quickley, like Antoine said, I just don't really see them doing much. Kind of let everyone run their course. They
Yeah.
don't need to
They
compete
have a
anytime soon.
nice core.
They do.
Raptors?
They have a nice core,
They're about to get a handsome return for Bruce Brown too.
Yeah.
and they'll have a high draft pick.
Yeah, I think you keep Bruce though till the deadline. I think a contender will overpay for him. So I think it'll be. I'm not sure who, but
Yeah,
presumably he'll be good. He'll probably finish out there and probably walk back to Denver because
Yeah.
I think he misses it there. Denver or Brooklyn or we riot. Those are the only two places that Bruce Brown is allowed to go to, essentially. But yeah, no, I think the real winner of this trade will determine the durability of OG Anunoby.
Indeed, it will.
yeah,
Indeed, it will.
yeah.
100% agree with that.
Yeah.
If he's healthy, Knicks win that trade easy.
Yeah.
Championship or not.
Yeah.
Like if he's healthy, like if you get 65 games out of OG per year, you
Yeah.
easily win that trade.
Oh, yeah.
But if he misses like a chunk of the season, or if he gets hurt in a playoff series, like dicey.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it during the season. We'll leave that for season talk.
Exactly. We'll see. I'm gonna be busting his chops for years
Yeah.
with this trade, bro. It's gonna be,
Unless
gonna be great.
unless they win.
Unless they win.
We'll leave
But,
it for season talk.
yeah, we'll see.
Leave it for season talk.
Well, I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but we're going to talk about another former Knick next. This happened right before the 6 p.m. deadline on June 30th, which is yesterday at the time of recording. Also, apologize if I sound like shit. I'm still sick, and it's hard to talk. But Obi Toppin has agreed to a deal to return to Indiana. 4 years, $60 million. So it looks like the Pacers have their bench core set. I think they're actually working on a lifetime contract with TJ McConnell to keep him there for the rest of his career.
Wow.
Which
Are
is
they actually?
fire.
Or are you just saying that?
No,
They said
they wanna
they're
bring
working
him
on
back.
They said they're working on a long-term contract with TJ McConnell to finish his
wow.
career in Indiana. So my
Wow.
guess is basically a lifetime contract.
Wow.
Essentially, what Lillard got from Portland, just a lot less money, and obviously Lillard wound up leaving.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think, Gio, about this signing for Indiana?
Obi Toppin, man. I didn't expect this from him.
Really?
Yeah, I really didn't. He's also kind of going under the radar as well, even though he's like a high flyer. He's like high flying under the radar. You know, kind of an oxymoron. But
Well, for context, remember
Yeah.
he was like the best player in the country. The tournament got canceled because of
Right.
COVID.
Yep.
Right.
That was his time to shine.
that was
Yep.
Dayton was a 1 seed. I think they would have gone all the way.
yeah.
Yep.
And-
But still, the way he performed in New York, it was all right.
He wasn't.
did
He
okay.
wasn't a Tibbs guy.
He was.
Is that what
he
it
was
is?
used horrendously.
He was not a Tibbs guy.
How many minutes did he even get per game when he was over
He
there?
was a rotational guy with Randall, but he played when he's off the bench with Quickley. He loved Quickley more. Toppin got like at most 18 to 20 minutes a night, and he was also really shaky shooting wise.
Yeah.
He had flashes of potential with his dunks, but
Right.
he needed to get moved.
That's
Indy was his home. Indy's utilizing him correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to be the backup big to Siakam and Turner because now Jalen Smith moved out of there. He was a free agent. He signed in Chicago.
Yep.
So Obi Toppin's going to be the big man there with hopefully Jarris Walker.
Right. Yeah.
With them two running the backup
Oh, that's
big
nice.
band unit.
You know who he reminds me of? Obi
Who?
Toppin.
Yeah.
He reminds me of a more athletic, better shooting version of Dorian Finney-Smith.
He is. I think he developed his
Better
three-pointer
shooter.
really well. In
Dorian Finney-Smith, since coming here, his 3-pointer's been a little bit of a yikes. He did hurt his hand when he got traded here, so that's why he was a brick.
Right.
But I think Obi Toppin, I see a lot more potential considering DFS is almost 30. But look, I love this deal for Indiana because I think they proved it to themselves. Depth is so important, and the fact that now with your starting five, with Siakam back, which we talked about a few episodes ago, you have TJ McConnell, Obi Toppin. Your bench is set because really, in a nitty gritty playoff game, you only need 7 to 8 guys.
Yeah.
And
Don't
you have-
forget Benedict Mathurin. coming back
Exactly,
as well.
yeah. So they have their 6, 7.
Oh, yeah.
But Benedict
Easy.
Mathurin might get traded. We don't know yet. But look, I think they shored up their depth. They don't really need to do much else. I know they're sniffing around Cam Johnson and Kevin Huerter and some other pieces.
They
We'll
don't need
see
that.
if there's any validity to it. But I love this deal. I think
Yeah.
you could have asked for a lot more under this new CBA. 15 AAV is
Yeah.
perfect. I mean, that's
Yeah.
a good deal.
It wasn't an overpay at all.
He also fits in perfectly with the Pacers. Like he does a lot of things that the rest of the Pacers guys don't do.
Right.
So it's perfect.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
love that he stayed over there. So
Yeah.
Now, I forgot to ask for the Raptors, so we'll do both. What's your ceiling for both the Pacers and the Raptors this season? What's like their peak?
Pacers are going to be top 3 seed. Raptors are going to be, I think, bottom playing.
I think Raptors will be top playing and Pacers will be top 3.
And then what about depth, ceiling wise for the Pacers in the playoffs?
Ceiling wise for the playoffs.
Conference finals again.
Yeah, I don't think they go to the finals.
Conference finals.
Yeah, conference finals. I agree.
Okay. Yeah, I agree in the sense of top 3 in the East. I know sometimes regular season guys don't play very often. Raptors, I could see sneaking in considering how horrid the East is. I could see them getting like 6, but
Wow.
I think I'll stay with like 7, 8.
Yeah.
It'll be low.
They're not
play-in.
going to be bottom.
Yeah, I think the Pacers' ceiling can be the finals. We'll see if that happens. I don't know. So I think anywhere from conference finals to finals.
Yeah.
I think a lot is dependent. I think the East is dependent on Boston having a championship hangover or not,
Okay.
Yeah.
because otherwise Boston's just going to march straight back to the
Yeah.
finals.
Yeah.
We all know this.
Yep.
So congratulations to Quickley and Toppin, by the way. The next one, the Lakers have agreed to a deal with Max Christie. He is back. presumably going to get more minutes. I think his AAV's like not 8 or 9 mil a year.
4-year, 32.
Yes, so 8 mil per year.
It's pretty good.
This kind of shores up, I guess, Austin Reeves' insurance if he gets moved, because he might, especially if the Lakers are trying to get a Trae Young. Austin Reeves will for sure be going.
Yeah.
You used to be a Lakers fan, Gio. So what are your thoughts on this signing?
I don't know much about him.
Well, here's the thing. Some people say I look like Max Christie.
You do.
And
You think he does?
yeah, you seen him before? Yeah. Okay. Well, look, I'm happy for the kid. Happy for the kid. He's getting his money. I don't know how many minutes did he even get? Like, he didn't really play much.
He wasn't getting
He
much.
wasn't major.
So what do they see in him? So you said it's Austin Reeves insurance, right?
Austin Reeves insurance.
So they
you're
must have seen him.
You're hoping for good on-ball defense. He's really good at the point of attack.
Is he actually?
Yes, that's what his bread and butter is. He's
Okay.
good around just guarding point guards, essentially.
So that's his game. Guard
He can shoot
at the
too.
point of attack.
He's got some offensive game, but I think defense is that's what the media wants Austin Reeves to be. But Austin Reeves is he's way more of an offensive player than
He's creative.
Yeah, he's a good defender, but Max Christie's a better defender than Reeves.
Right.
You're going to lose a little bit of offensive production because Reeves has a bag.
Yeah.
Christie doesn't really have as good of a bag.
No.
I have no idea about Max Christie's game. I have to watch more of him next year.
Yeah, he's a very the problem is he's such an underrated player, but he plays for the most overrated team, so
Yeah.
it's tough.
Yeah. So he kind of gets like
He gets unfair
Yeah.
comparisons. Like you're getting straight like, Magic Johnson or like,
Yeah.
crazy like Hall of Famers.
yeah.
So it's almost like
Yeah.
you're playing for the Yankees or the Cowboys
Exactly.
or they're just one of those teams. So
Yeah.
and I think that's been the only move the Lakers have made. So I will ask, what's the ceiling for the Lakers this year, presuming they get Braun back, which they will.
Yeah.
Let's wait till after they make moves. I don't know right now.
I say the ceiling for them is 4. Top 4.
I have no idea.
Still don't think
I'm not answering this
I,
until we know who.
I still don't think they get out. I don't think they get out of the plane again.
Wow.
Yeah, I think they probably get 7, 8.
If they get Trae Young,
If they get Trae Young,
what's going on?
They're middle of the pack right
6.
Trae Young, LeBron, AD. Who else?
You're looking at 3 guys that can't stay healthy.
Okay.
They're middle of the
let's say
pack.
let's say they're healthy.
They're healthy, 5. That's the highest I'll
And
go.
then in the playoffs, what do they do?
I think second round.
Second
If
round.
they play Denver, then first round.
Okay.
That's the one team they can't beat, and I just don't think they ever will be able
Okay.
to.
Now, if Russ is on Denver, and Denver beats the Lakers, I will be so happy. You don't
Right.
understand, but yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to take a minute to just talk about the Russell Westbrook
Oh,
Denver
yeah.
rumors? Go for it.
So-
Intro it in.
so-
Explain to the people.
Yeah. So basically, apparently Jokic
And
was the
DeAndre
one,
Jordan.
and DeAndre Jordan, both of them went up to the Nuggets executives or owner or whatever it might have been.
Kroenke's, Calvin Booth.
Yeah, and they're saying we want Westbrook, and I've been saying that too. I've been telling Jokic over the phone, y'all gotta have Westbrook. Like if you want to win,
Guess what?
get Westbrook.
This is not the first time Jokic has wanted to play with Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, tell us.
He's
When was
wanted
the first time.
in the past, the years past. He's always wanted to play alongside
Really?
Russell Westbrook.
Why do you think
Yeah.
that is?
They're
I
very,
know why.
Very similar play styles. Triple
Yeah?
double
They're
machines.
triple double machines.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay,
And
that's
plus-
a crazy duo.
Yeah, and I think also you look at it now, especially this not only would give Denver a lot of room when because Murray's going to get banged up across the season. He's never been a durable guy. This allows Russ to kind of take some of the workload off of him during the regular season. And look, I think Reggie Jackson did a fine job. I just think Russell Westbrook will what you're going to get from him. With Reggie Jackson, you were either going to get just a random explosion of 20 points or you were going to get 0-7 from the field.
Yeah.
So
Very
it's hard to kind of
unpredictable.
decipher that.
But let me tell you this though: the reason why they want Westbrook, Jokic specifically wants Westbrook, is because we all noticed in the playoffs that Denver had sort of a lackadaisical attitude.
Lackadaisical.
Okay, say it again.
Lackadaisical.
A lackadaisical
There you go.
attitude. And so Russ gives that sense of urgency, that energy that they really need. And so that's why I think that's what it comes down to. That's why they want Russ.
I actually think it's going to be a good fit. I don't know about you. What do you see from this?
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not a
There's
move.
nothing wrong with that.
Never a combo I thought.
Yeah.
I just wonder who they're going to get in return from LA, what the package would be.
My guess is probably
Not
Zeke
much.
Naji. He's the salary piece because
Yeah.
they're trying to shed cap. Because Russ will make, 6 mil this year? give
A
or
little
take.
over, I think.
Yeah, I think he's making like half the MLE.
Yeah.
So around there, like I'm surprised they didn't just. I guess the Clippers didn't want Reggie Jackson, so they kind of just salary dumped him.
Yep.
But my guess it's probably Zeke Naji or maybe Jalen Pickett, Hunter Tyson picks.
Yeah.
Some seconds.
That's it.
Clippers will take that.
Yeah. That's it.
Clippers should blow it up, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree.
But
Yeah.
what's the ceiling in your opinion, Gio, with and without Russell Westbrook for Denver?
With Westbrook, the Nuggets will be a championship team.
Okay.
Without Westbrook,
There's still a championship.
hold on now. Hold on, I didn't even finish. Without Westbrook, they will be a first round exit.
Wow.
Okay, all right. That's a little
A
extreme.
sixth man, bro.
That's a little extreme.
Yeah.
They'll be a Western Conference Finals
Okay.
ceiling.
I think they'll probably. I think it shores up a championship more with Russ.
Yeah.
I think they're still a championship contender without him.
Yep.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that happens. That based on the sources that I've been seeing, it will formulate today, if
Yeah.
not overnight. So hopefully for you, you will be back to rooting for a good team, which will be cool.
I'm excited.
With the best
I'm
in the
ready.
world. So you never know.
I'm ready. The two GOATs team up. I'm ready for it.
Next, we got some massive news, massive game-breaking news. Luke Kornet's back on the Celtics.
Bruh. Next.
Move on.
Go back to back, back to back,
Back to back.
Luke Kornet, he didn't even have minutes in the
No.
playoffs.
No,
Rare.
he did not. He was the backup
Yeah.
center till Xavier Tillman got there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Fun fact, Luke Kornet's dad and Al Horford's dad won a championship together.
Yes.
I forget what team.
the Bucks.
The Bucks.
I think it was the Bucks. If it's if whatever team it is, I'll put it on the screen. If it's not the Bucks,
Yeah.
So
So that's cool.
Magic
Anyways.
Very
Lightning.
cool.
That's cool. Now, we're not going to get into the off the court stuff here. I want to keep this strictly basketball related, but we can kind of dance around the fact. The Clippers have signed Kevin Porter Jr. to a 2-year deal. Yeah, I don't know what Lawrence Frank was thinking here. I understand some of the basketball values he brings, but I'm sorry, he should not be in the league. He should face the same punishment that Dejounte Porter faced.
And Miles Bridges,
And Miles Bridges, yeah.
who's
Don't
also free.
even, don't even get me started on him. But I assume we're kind of all in the same boat on
It's
this.
just a depth piece.
Yeah,
That's all I really know.
it's just he shouldn't even be playing. Like,
Okay, can you remind everyone what did Kevin Porter do?
Okay, Kevin Porter, essentially, I'm trying to figure out the best way to word this. Eventually, when we get monetized, because they can still demonetize videos that are made in the past, he essentially,
Just say it.
beat the crap out of his significant other, essentially. And yeah, the Rockets instantly cut him. I
Yeah.
applaud them for
Yeah.
doing that. Everyone the meme, everyone liked that? That's exactly what it was. He went out and played in Greece for a year for PAOK Salonika, I believe.
Wow.
And then
Came back to Cleveland.
no. This is his first time back in the league.
Why am I thinking of who's on? Are you sure?
Craig Porter Jr. is the rookie on Cleveland.
Hold on. Can I fact check this
Yeah.
real quick?
Taiwan, by the way.
Yeah.
Dwight.
Craig Porter Jr. is on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Someone I would love on the Nets, by the way. I think he's a baller, bro. He's so
Can I
good.
Fact check this.
Yeah.
But
It's a surprise.
this is the second.
Wait.
This is the second questionable signing.
You're right.
It is Craig Porter Jr. Right?
Well, he got drafted by Cleveland and then
Oh,
went to
okay.
Houston.
Yeah.
That's what I'm mixing up. Yes, he was in Greece.
Right.
last
This
year.
is the second questionable signing the Clippers have made. Obviously, last year they brought in Josh Primo after all this shit he did behind the scenes. I don't know. They need to blow it up, man.
No, I don't.
This is.
I don't know what they're doing.
I don't know.
What's
They're
the point?
just-
Maybe I don't know. Maybe they've seen growth in his character. I don't know.
How do you grow from that? Like,
Well, I mean, how do you get worse from that? You know what I mean? Like, there's no way down. You have to go up.
Right.
But like,
This-
still,
this-
like,
this is.
I don't understand
This is just that. I think mentality of everyone deserves a second chance.
I guess. I guess
you know,
that's
it's
what it
like,
is.
you know, it's really just in my head right now. When Kawhi gets back from Costa Rica and he finds out about everything that's transpired over the past week,
Yeah.
just his reaction.
Yeah.
No, literally.
He's literally
He's
just
like, I don't even know where my head at.
I don't even know where you're sitting at. But we'll talk Clippers later on because there was a
Yeah.
move that happened later.
Yeah.
We'll talk the ceiling with that. However, we got another Clipper to talk about that is no longer a Clipper. Nets legend Mason Plumlee has signed a contract with the Phoenix Suns. Interesting fit.
That's just a backup big to Nurkic.
Well, Nurkic could get moved,
Yeah.
right? We saw them trade. Well, we saw them move off of Jacques Landale last year. Another one of their pieces moved, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But what do you, obviously, since you were just a Clipper fan, you were talking a lot about the Plumlee, Tice, Zubats trio.
Yeah.
Do you think Plumlee brings any value to the Phoenix Suns, mainly with his lefty free throw shooting?
I mean, Plumlee's a solid piece. Like literally, he's very solid. Like he's immovable.
Is that
almost.
a pause? Only on
Nah.
only on Tuesdays.
Yeah, too.
Yeah, it's fine.
But no, yeah. So he's actually he's a good piece, but the Suns are not doing anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like what's he gonna help out with? Like, I don't know.
Backup minutes for Nurkic.
I get like
Because Nurkic got
big deal.
Nurkic got into a lot of foul trouble during the Wolves series.
Okay,
So I guess that maybe gives them some insurance
right.
rather than Drew Eubanks. Because
And
He left.
Also, what do
Eubanks
we know?
left.
I said rather than.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we know about the Kevin Durant and Devin Booker
They're
situation?
gonna be there.
They're gonna stay.
They literally did that entire roster outside of like two players is the exact same.
Okay.
So
Beal's still there. Everything.
yeah.
All right.
Beal is there because he has a no trade clause. So if they're going to move anyone,
Do you want to touch
It's-
on Royce O'Neal being
we'll
back
talk about
too?
that later on. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have the order here. So, but yeah, essentially with Phoenix, they're just running it back.
Yeah, let's see what happens with Budenholzer.
Are you flipping off the viewers
No,
right
I'm
now?
literally rubbing my eyes.
That's wild.
Sorry.
Wow.
No, he's
My fault.
flipping off the Westbrook
Not even,
haters.
bro. What? I would never.
You would never flip off the Westbrook haters?
No.
Why is that? So what if they called Westbrook a bitch?
Sorry. What? All right. Wait. Where are we at? Where are we at?
We're talking about the Suns.
Okay.
Mason Plumlee.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I don't think he was expecting that.
Yo. All right. Go.
I don't know if you noticed, but Kev's been taking chunks out of that plant ever since we started recording.
You a herbivore?
Yeah, you about to start eating that, bro. Kev is hungry.
Yeah.
Well, we're all omnivores. We eat plants and meat. So
Right. But anyways, back to the Suns. What ceiling do you see with this? We'll talk about the ceiling later, actually, because we got more signings to go through.
yeah,
Do you think this was a good signing for the Suns?
Yeah.
Just plain and simple.
Yeah.
it's a backup. Big.
Plumlee's a good player.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's all I could say. He's a good player.
He
You
has,
can give him
he
solid
has his
minutes.
CTE moments.
Yeah,
He definitely does. He'll throw the ball into the stands a couple times.
definitely.
So-
Definitely. But look, that lefty form is pretty good. And he shot pretty good from the free throw line in the playoffs. It was like 80%.
He definitely did.
So,
I think those days in Charlotte and Detroit molded him.
yeah.
He's seen the dog days,
Yeah.
especially since starting his career with us.
Yeah. He's
He
been
don't
through
wanna
the
be back
valleys.
there.
Yeah.
So he's going to do everything he can.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to see a lot of first quarter minutes when Nurkic exits with 3 fouls. So
yep.
interesting in that end. Next one, in my opinion, a top 2 most underrated signing of the window so far. The Dallas Mavericks has signed a 3-year, $27 million contract with Naji Marshall.
Yeah, I don't know much about Naji, but
I
know,
love this.
I know he'll be great for them.
Absolutely. This is a guy that just pure defender and someone that can score, but is mainly just he plays kind of a Nickeil Alexander-Walker role, except
Really?
he's a lot bigger.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think he's as mobile and quick as Nickeil.
that's why he's bigger.
yeah.
So-
It's a defensive body. He's the Derrick Jones Jr. replacement.
Think of him as Nickeil Alexander-Walker with the body of OG Anunoby. Think
Are
of
we
that.
gassing him up just a little bit?
No, he's good.
I think we're gassing him a little
I'm
bit.
talking about just the body type. I'm not talking about the
Okay,
output. Because
okay.
OG is about triple the defender as Naji Marshall.
Yeah.
But remember, Naji Marshall, we don't know yet because he's playing behind, in my opinion, the best point of attack defender in the NBA in Herb Jones. So
Right.
He never really got those minutes. And even behind him is Trey Murphy.
Yeah.
So it's hard to coexist with those two. So I definitely think it's a steal for Dallas. I think it's actually a big upgrade on Derrick Jones. Love Derrick Jones, but
Yeah.
I think he's better for them specifically.
We'll see. I haven't really watched much of him, but whenever I've watched
we
him,
will watch more next year.
yeah, whenever I've watched him, he seemed like he was okay.
Yeah.
So
And I think hopefully, as we grow and as we upgrade our setup and stuff, we can start doing like live stream watch-alongs of games. So if the Pelicans ever play, then there we go. So essentially with that, did the Pelicans? I don't think the Pelicans. We already talked about the Pelicans. Dallas obviously made some moves. We'll talk about later. Next up, the Philadelphia 76ers have agreed to a vet minimum contract with Eric Gordon, not Aaron Gordon. Eric.
Do we need to touch on these?
he's washed.
Yeah.
He's very washed.
We'll just leave it as is.
I think PJ Tucker walked so he could run.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Not really. I don't think we really need to touch on this.
No.
Just kind of a throw-in.
Yeah.
Maybe
He might help for
We
shooting.
definitely
That's
will.
it. Yeah, that's it.
That's all they need him for.
Don't they have Buddy Hield still?
He's a free agent.
So we'll see if he comes back.
Okay.
We'll see. Next up, an interesting contract. The Washington Wizards have agreed to a 3-year, $30 million contract with Jonas Valanciunas. Now, for context, this is actually a cheaper deal than the one Gafford was on before they traded him. And I think Valanciunas is probably a better fit for them.
Yeah.
So-
I love the move. I think it's a perfect piece next to Sarr. And it's just a veteran to fill in
It's a good front
big
court.
minutes.
Yeah, that is a good front court.
Yeah.
I think once they get an actual coach, I love Brian Keefe, but once they get an actual coach, I think they'll start to form into something. What are you looking at?
Yeah, I think that's fine because I don't think Sarr was going to start at center.
No.
They needed a center. They don't have anybody there anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fine for him, for Valanciunas.
It's just so weird. If you look at the last 3 centers the Wizards have had, Kristaps Porzingis, Daniel Gafford, and Jonas Valanciunas, and they've been shit.
Yeah.
Obviously, he hasn't
Yeah.
played yet, but it's just weird to think about, no?
Yeah. They just
Well-
they weren't utilizing him right.
Yeah. I wouldn't say Gafford was bad, but Gafford actually played good.
He got dunked on so many times.
He also got so many blocks. That's the thing.
Right. But we
He
all
puts
know
his body on the line.
Gafford's most notable moment on the Washington Wizards is when Kevin Durant snatched the ever-living crap out of his soul on that crossover. If you don't remember that, you don't remember that. Antoine, you definitely
What year
remember
was
that.
this?
This was the year he got traded.
The year Gafford got traded.
Kevin Durant got
Kevin
traded.
Durant got
from us.
traded to the Suns.
It was the crossover. He slipped and kind of face planted.
Bro,
Bro, it was
you
disgusting.
need to see that.
I'm going to send it to you right now, actually. Because, bro, it was absolutely gross. Because, bro, for those on Spotify, I'm going to show Gio the Kevin Durant, Daniel Gafford ankle breaker if my phone wants to load. And while we actually do that, we can move on to the next signing.
Yeah.
Another Sixers signing, and it's a reunion with Andre Drummond. They agreed to a 2-year deal. The number wasn't publicly known yet.
10 mil.
10 mil? Okay, so 10 mil per year or 10
No,
mil
total.
total?
It was
10
2
mil
years, 10
total.
mil.
2 years? Okay.
Okay, it's not loading. If you want to just load up on YouTube, just without audio, because I don't want to get copyrighted, of just Daniel Gafford ankles, and it should pop up. But Antoine, what are your thoughts on Drummond back with Philadelphia?
I think just the backup big. That's the Embiid. You know, Embiid gets injured like every other game.
Him and Embiid don't like each other either.
Interesting. We were talking about maybe he's going to fill in the power forward position or center. I
Oh,
don't.
he's definitely a center.
Yeah, I don't think he's filling in PF minutes.
No, that's what
but
Paul
if
Reed is for.
That's if Embiid goes down, he's going to start center, and he's just be backup big. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's another. It's the same thing with Plumlee. Just more money.
It's tough with Drummond because like he's good. I think all time he's the best rebounder in NBA history. I think he has
Yes.
the Andre Drummond.
No way.
He has it's either the most total rebounds ever or the most rebounds per game ever.
He ate on the Pistons.
No way he's the best rebounder, though.
It's like
He ate on the
DeAndre Jordan has the
Pistons.
highest field goal percentage in NBA history.
Yeah, but, like, come on, bro.
Did you see
No
it? By
way.
The way? The
I
ankle
saw it,
breaker,
yeah.
yeah, nasty, right?
Yeah, but he slipped. Somebody's
Still.
sweat marks were on the ground. That
Still,
doesn't
though.
count to me.
I know you're a Gafford stan, so
We love Gaff.
yeah. Well, I think when Russ retires, he's gonna be a Gafford stan wherever he goes.
Me?
Yeah. Are you gonna run the Twitter account Gafford Muse?
Why not? I will.
Could happen. But what do you think about Drummond going back to the Sixers?
It's good. It's good. That's all I think. I think
these bench guys, we don't really have much for.
Remember, but we're in the new era of the NBA. Bench guys are important.
Yeah. We just got to see if they bring valuable minutes.
Yeah.
He'll be a nice big body when Embiid sits down.
Yeah.
That's what I see.
I think this will now. You could start Paul Reed now
Yeah.
at the
goes down.
4.
And
We'll see
Jared
who else
McCain.
comes back.
Yeah.
I say you sit Jared McCain, let him come off the bench and
Sit
run point.
Oubre.
No, you don't sit Oubre.
You need a bench punch, bro. I don't know.
Don't.
Jared McCain could be that.
Jared McCain can't bring the bench punch like Kelly Oubre.
How do you know?
Did you see the season Kelly Oubre had?
He did have a good.
It was insane.
He did.
And bro got hit by a car and managed to come back better. Insane. But that was that deal. Let's see. The next one. A 2-year, $8 million deal. Kevin Love returns to the Miami Heat. Now, an interesting fact for y'all. Last year was the first time ever he got eliminated in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Every single time he had made the Eastern Conference playoffs, they made the finals. So all those times with Cleveland and obviously the one time with Miami last year.
I don't know. This is just his retirement tour in Miami.
I think he just needs to hang it up at this point.
Yeah, please. How much is he getting though?
$4
$4
million
million
a year.
It's not bad.
Why not? He's like, why not give
just-
me $4 million a year?
I think, yeah.
For an NBA veteran, it's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
And that segues into another old head getting a minimum contract. DeAndre Jordan has gone back to the Denver Nuggets 1 year, $3.8 million.
Wow. I like it.
Just for vibes, just to sit on the bench.
Literally just to
making
keep
$3
the
million.
vibes up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it.
His role is a lot more vocal,
Yes.
right? He's going to
a
really
vocal
help.
leader
He's
for
going to help
sure.
Deron Holmes kind of develop and everything like that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Definitely.
I'm definitely okay with that,
So-
just to be there.
Yeah, that one's cool. Kelly Oubre, speak of the devil, he's back with the Philadelphia 76ers. 2 years, $16.3 million contract.
Should be making more.
That's a steal.
It's a very big
He
steal.
should be making
steal of a
a
contract.
good amount more than that. So
Absolutely.
He could have gotten more than Naji Marshall.
yeah.
100%. I think he just wanted to go back to Philly and win there.
Right.
I guess.
You take 3/4 of the MLE. That's a beautiful contract for Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a steal.
So they're building up a decent squad. It's just, can they get it done in the playoffs? That's the question.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have the hiccups now.
We'll get to the big move later they made.
We will. Next up, going back to Derrick Jones. He is leaving the Dallas Mavericks, as we had mentioned before, and he's back with the Los Angeles Clippers on a 3-year, $30 million contract. He
Same
got
thing.
more money. Well,
Same
he
thing
deserves
as-
more money than Oubre because he helped get them to the finals. That's fair.
Same thing, so they value him the same as Valanciunas. In different positions.
Essentially, yes.
Wait. So Derrick Jones is where?
A Clipper.
Clipper now.
Clipper.
Well, the Wizards are different because Valanciunas fits a need, and it's also a cheaper contract
Yeah.
than what Gafford was on. So that's a fair contract.
So Derrick Jones now going there with KPJ. Jones, I'm presuming he's going to start easily.
Oh, we should.
He's replacing Paul George's minutes.
What a downgrade.
That's fine. Defense.
yeah,
High
but
flyer.
you're going from Paul George
Right.
to
And Paul George is a
Derrick
great
Jones
defender,
Jr.
too.
Wait, are we maybe Norman Powell starts?
He might.
He might. You never know.
Jones is the PF.
Unless they both start.
I'm guessing a lineup of Harden running to point.
Is Kawhi still there?
Kawhi small forward.
Oh, yeah, Kawhi's still there.
Unless you move Kawhi to shooting guard, small forward,
No.
Derrick Jones, power forward.
Kawhi plays the 3 or the 4.
Who did I just name for power forward?
I don't know.
Who's their center? Zubac?
Yeah. Still there.
They did sign Nick Batum as well.
That we'll get into later.
I don't know. That's going to be a weird lineup. I don't know who they
How
could.
many,
Oh,
how many
Norman
more
Powell.
signings?
There's a bunch more. So
Yeah.
before
Let's
we
get
get into the next one, unfortunately, little man over here must depart. So Kev, you want to come say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Pleasure having you on the show. Obviously, you're back always, whenever. Once we get a fourth mic and a fourth camera,
Yes.
we will be able to have guests.
We're going to say more.
Yes, you will. All right, big thank you to Kev, obviously, for pulling up to the studio. Well, every now and then we'll have just random people just
We have
here.
people, yeah.
Yeah. Eventually, we'll start getting guests on the show. Let us know in the comments who you want to see on the show. First big mega signing of free agency is next. The Orlando Magic have signed Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to a 3-year, $66 million contract. So the PCP dude is Florida bound. And from what we know, Denver had salary dumped Reggie Jackson's contract to try and, get close to an offer for KCP. And they wound up going a little bit short of it. That was the most they could offer. And at the end of the day, KCP chose to move on and go to Orlando. So I'll go to you first, Gio. Your thoughts on this move for both the Magic and the Nuggets?
So in terms of the Magic, I don't really understand the move, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
This seems like the most surefire move possible for them.
I don't know, because I feel like they already had enough good defenders on the team. I think they should have went another route, got an offensive-minded
Clay.
player.
Like Clay?
Clay,
That's fair.
and Clay can also play defense as well. We know
Right.
that. So he could have got best of both worlds with Clay.
Yeah.
But so I don't really understand the move. I mean, obviously Caldwell-Pope is an outstanding defender. He's a championship caliber defensive player. So
Yeah.
So like he's gonna help out on the team, but I don't understand it. What do you think?
This is an A+ move.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
It's-
in total agreement there.
They're competing. They made it to a Game 7 in the first round this year with the Cleveland team that was obviously a little better, but they both were evenly matched. It was just who won that game. They have a core. They have a much more developed core than Detroit has right now, and all the other guys rebuilding. And they have a good coach. That was a Coach of the Year finalist.
Yeah.
So they're going up in the right direction. They needed a piece. We always talked about Clay. Clay was the Magic guy, but they went a different route. And I think regardless, you can never have enough defense, especially in the playoffs.
Never.
And KCP can still shoot and score. He's not a bad scorer. And they have enough scorers on the team. Franz and Paolo, of course, are the leading scorers. Suggs is going to score and, of course, defend. They have a deep bench as well. They did draft Tristan da Silva. It's another shooter. And they'll be just fine. They needed more defense. I think Suggs also has his injury time. He's on and off with injuries. I always noticed that. And he also has, but he should be fully healthy regardless. Yeah. He'll be fine. Yeah. But at the beginning of the year, Orlando wasn't looking too good because he was always on and off. It was always him coming off with Fultz as well there, but Fultz is gone.
Yeah.
They're going to move off of him. Cole Anthony's there. They have a nice young core. They needed some veterans. KCP is the ideal veteran.
Okay.
Clay, I don't know if Clay would have fit in. He came off a really interesting Golden State year. His mentality might not be in the right mindset for a team that's competing.
Yeah.
Orlando needs a right. You don't need an guy that's coming off a really bad season. You need someone that's going to be focused. KCP is that guy. Dallas took the flyer on Clay, which is fine for them because they made the finals. But Orlando needed a surefire veteran that's a champion as well.
I think Clay's too much of a win now move because Clay is already old. He's been injured a lot. You're not sure how much more of his career you're going to get.
Right.
So I think the Magic are young. They're very promising. I really like what they're building. I think this was the move they needed. Bringing in a champion role player that's won 2 rings in the past 4 seasons is something to behold. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, if you could roll out a lineup of Jalen Suggs, KCP, Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, and Jonathan Isaac, if that lineup's healthy, my God.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think the Magic became, when healthy, I think the Magic are probably a top 3 team in the East.
Wow.
Yeah. I am.
Celtics, Pacers, Magic?
Yes.
Okay.
No. It's Celtics, Knicks, Pacers, Magic.
All right, we'll talk about this later.
Talk about that later.
Yeah.
But
That's the top 4. Oh, wait, no.
What were you gonna say before?
We're forgetting Philly.
What were you going to say before? You're going to say something.
I don't know. I'm a Magic fan after the
Okay.
Knicks.
Okay.
I love the Magic.
But I think based on how the teams are formed and how the depth is, I would favor Orlando over the Knicks and the Sixers.
Okay.
No. Not right now.
I feel like we're underestimating Klay Thompson's value that he can bring to a team.
Right, but remember the Magic are younger. They don't need Clay necessarily. I think it would have been a good fit, but you're going to get like 2 to 3 years out of him. I think KCP can give you that long term because he doesn't have to do as much now. Keep that in mind. Back in Denver, he would have had to take on all the responsibility guarding.
Same thing with Clay. He
Also,
doesn't have to do as much.
Right.
I feel like they're going to.
They're only 3 years
They're
apart.
going to rely. If Clay went to Orlando, they would rely on his shooting a lot. But in Dallas, they're not. You have Kyrie and Luka there. Those are going to be the primary shooters.
He's also going to hinder a lot of the development of Paolo and Franz Wagner. They need to be the ball dominant players. KCP's not going to do
Clay's
that.
never been a ball dominant player.
Well,
He's
I know.
always
He's-
Curry. Even when Curry and KD were on the team,
Right.
he still flourished
But you-
without having the ball ever.
No, but I'm
almost.
saying you've seen, especially in the past couple of years, there have been plenty of games where he's taken the most shots in the game.
Yeah.
That can't really be happening. You need Paolo and Franz to dominate offensively. And I think Clay would kind of get in the way of that.
I disagree.
I'm not saying it's a bad fit. I just think KCP's a better fit for that team
Okay. Well,
because
Yeah.
they need that veteran role player rather than
Yeah.
a main guy.
yeah.
Because like if you're trading for Clay, you need a surefire bet for a championship. I don't think the Magic are yet. Because to me, I just only think Boston and Indiana are the surefire teams to get there. But look, I think the Magic have a deep run in them with KCP. I think he'll be more rejuvenated. I think especially with the big family he has, their kids probably get to go to Disney whenever they want now,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
I love Orlando.
definitely a big loss for the Nuggets.
Yeah.
This now opens the door for the Christian Brown era to come through. So we'll see what he can bring to the table.
Yeah.
I think he's probably got this potential to be better defensively.
I agree.
Offensively leaves a lot to be desired, though. So it's something we'll see.
Yeah.
But ceiling-wise for the Magic, what are we saying?
Top 5,
Top 3.
And playoff-wise?
second round.
Ceiling Eastern Conference Finals.
Agreed. I think top 4 seed, because remember, everything fluctuates. Not it's never always by the best teams. And I think conference finals. I think they can get there. It's definitely in the cards.
I think the 5 teams in the East can all get there. It's just how they match up against one
I
another.
think there's more than 5, to be honest with you.
There's 5.
I think Milwaukee and Cleveland are a move away from joining the mix.
I forgot about Milwaukee. Cleveland, I'm not worried about.
Yeah, Milwaukee, I think, can easily
Yeah.
make a
We have
run.
to see what happens.
Whenever,
with that.
if you have Giannis on your team,
And
then
Dame.
you're always,
Yeah.
You can never forget Milwaukee.
True.
So, yeah, that was the KCP signing. Another big signing, even though it's not a big contract, an interesting one. The San Antonio Spurs have signed Chris Paul to the MLE.
We were talking about it all along. It was just a Chris Paul move. It's fine.
I adore this move. I really wish he would have
Why?
ring chased, but I mean, I think this is the perfect point guard for Victor Wembanyama.
Love it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It helps his development. That's all that they needed to do.
Yeah,
Yeah, CP's about to get Wemby like 40 points a game.
bro.
Yeah.
about to be
And
exciting.
Stefan is going to learn from him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The hair.
everyone's gonna learn.
It'll
from
be
him.
It's
good.
fine.
Yeah.
It's
It'll be
perfect
good.
for that.
Does he start over Trey Jones? I don't know.
I don't think he should.
I don't think he needs to.
No.
Just as long as you stagger the minutes that he plays with
Yeah.
Wemby in the second half,
For sure.
that's all you need.
Yeah.
Sure.
I guarantee
that's
you, in
fine.
bed last night, he was probably watching on YouTube Wemby highlights of just
Who?
lobs. Chris Paul.
Chris Paul, yeah.
He's probably watching lobs to Wemby.
Yeah. He was
Paul.
probably watching before.
Oh, absolutely. They
Yeah.
they swapped jerseys after their game
Yeah.
last season.
Yeah.
So, very cool fit. Do we see the Spurs
Nah.
making the playoffs? I think they need another move.
No
I,
play-in, no playoffs.
I think they could make the play, and their ceiling
They
is
could be a
probably
last
10.
playing
Okay.
team.
But I think
possible.
12 is realistic for San Antonio.
Yeah.
And they'll get another great pick next year, or they make a move for like Larry Markkinen or something.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
Next one, the Los Angeles Clippers have agreed to a 2-year, $70 million deal with the honey bun milkshake himself, James Harden.
It's a lot of money
I
for him.
mean, you just had to.
It was written in the stars. It was going to happen. Otherwise, they wouldn't have traded for him.
Yeah.
So you're still a Clippers fan right now. So presumably, if Russ stays, what do you think
He's
about
not
this?
staying.
Presumably.
But if Russ stays, Harden and Westbrook, they've played together before. They have decent chemistry.
Yeah.
So it's nice, No.
Yeah.
I don't see the Clippers doing anything
No.
nah.
at all.
They just had.
Once
to
you lose
bring him back.
PG and especially we don't even know what Kawhi's going to look like next year.
Kawhi, man.
It's a lot up in the air in their
Kawhi.
first year in the new arena and the new logo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually like the new logo. It looks cool.
I haven't seen it.
It's interesting.
It's the one with the cruise ship on.
It's
I
interesting.
have to see
If you want to
it.
quickly Google it, you
Very
can.
interesting.
What do we see ceiling wise for the Clippers?
Middle of the pack.
Like 5,
what?
5,
6?
6.
Not even.
I don't.
say
I think.
like
I think they're a
8,
playing
7,
team. I think
7, 8.
We have to see what else they do.
I say 9, 8, 9,
Yeah.
somewhere around there.
When you're paying Kevin Porter Jr., your stock goes down.
Exactly. Yes. So that already
Especially giving him
eliminates
$15 million that you could have gave to another role player that's established.
exactly someone that actually is a good person.
Yes, that
essentially.
too.
So
Oh, this is way better than their
oh, it's
other logo.
awesome. People hate it. I don't
No,
understand.
it's
I love
great.
it.
It's great.
It's
They
good.
can't even see it. Forget it.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
right.
it. It's great.
Yeah, it's way better.
We did a segment a few episodes ago on the Clippers rebrand. So
Yeah.
Did I
in
see
one of our
that?
episodes, yeah.
I don't remember the cruise ship, but I
We did
I
that.
don't know.
No way we did
We
that.
did the
I thought we
Clippers
did the
rebrand.
Jazz.
Utah
We did the Jazz. And
We only did the
We did the
Jazz.
Clippers like a month ago.
I promise you.
Back
I
when it
don't
came
wanna
out.
do that.
We want to make a bet on it.
How much money? I mean, we
I
put
don't
money on this.
know.
How about if we did a segment on the Clippers?
I don't remember seeing a cruise ship.
If we did a
logo.
segment on the Clippers rebrand, you have to buy the cooling pad today.
Only if I saw it physically.
Seeing what?
The Clippers rebrand.
Yeah, we could after we record today's episode. I'll show you.
we'll look back.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So,
Yeah.
next up, we got a little bit of a quick deal. This was the Utah Jazz agreed to a 2-year, $10 million contract with Drew Eubanks. They pried him away from Phoenix. So Phoenix obviously replacing him with Mason Plumlee. Do we see this as sort of a
A predecessor to Laurie Markkinen trade.
I wouldn't say no, definitely not a predecessor because he's nowhere near Larry Markkinen. But this now gives you sort of more of a green light to trade guys, I guess.
Yeah.
I know they still have John Collins. They're shopping around Larry Markkinen. They're opening up to the idea of trading Walker Kessler now.
You have Filipowski,
Right.
drafted as
They
well.
have Collier.
And yeah,
A lot of
I like
movement going on.
Collier.
Utah is the hottest commodity in the NBA right now because
it's a lot of depth pieces.
right,
They
but
have
not
so
even
much.
so much of that. You have an all-star in Larry Markkinen. You have a budding all-star in Jordan Clarkson. Sorry, you have Colin Sexton still. Danny Ainge runs the team, so you're going to get a boatload of
You
picks
have
for whoever.
A lot of rookies that are up and coming.
Could you imagine, bro? After that McHale trade, could you imagine the picks Danny Ainge is going to get back from Markkinen? Bro, and they already have 5 from Minnesota for Rudy Gobert,
Wow.
and the 3 for Donovan
Wow.
Mitchell. Bro,
They're stacked.
Utah's going to be good.
like I think Utah, in my honest opinion, outside of Wemby and outside of the Stars, perfectly aligned for us. I think the Jazz could be a dynasty in the 2030s.
Wow.
If they cash in on those picks correctly, they could be.
And their
very,
picks they have
very
now, they
dangerous.
drafted.
Yeah, they could.
Yeah, because they have their own, and they have the destiny of the Cleveland and Minnesota.
Right.
So, and presumably whoever trades for Larry Markkinen.
Yeah.
So, I assume we all think the Jazz are gonna miss
Bottom.
the playoffs again.
No, I could see playing.
I see the Jazz going
see
like
this.
I see them going like 20-8 to start the season again, and then strategic
Yeah.
tank.
I just see them just being not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a 12 seed is in the cards
Yeah.
for them. 13,
I agree.
Yeah.
not bad at all.
No.
Some other quick stuff. Luka Garza is back on the Timberwolves. We finally saw him get minutes this year, so hopefully he can keep developing. I think
Yeah.
him and Dillingham minutes off the bench would be pretty cool.
Garza was a tank in college.
He stayed too long in college. Old
Yeah.
rookies never turn out
Yeah.
to be first round picks.
I'd like
Yeah.
to see him play.
So interesting there. We have a double deal with the Oklahoma City Thunder. They have brought back Isaiah Joe on I think a 3-year deal, and Aaron Wiggins is back on a 5-year, $47 million contract. That is going to be one of the best contracts in the NBA in a few years.
Just their role players are coming back. Mm-hmm. They love the role guys. that they
Isaiah
love.
Joe is a sharpshooter beyond belief. And we saw this year Aaron Wiggins finally coming into his own. He had some good minutes in the playoffs also.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
just y'all's thoughts really quick on just those two?
They're just shoring up their depth, and they have the money.
Yeah.
They gave Hartenstein the bag too.
Yep. And we'll talk about OKC ceiling later. Next up, what do we got? The Golden State Warriors have gave the MLE 1-year, $12.8 million deal to DeAnthony Melton. He was in Memphis, went to Philly in the Danny Green trade, and now has just walked over to Golden State.
I don't know much about him.
I mean, he's a solid player.
I love this
That's
move.
just the Clay replacement. I feel like
This is
Nah,
this is
he's
a
a guard.
CP3 replacement.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because CP3 essentially was not a great fit.
Yeah.
I think he's a good. You can start pods now, and DeAnthony Melton's 3 and D off the bench and can play make. I think it's a
Yeah.
really good deal.
He
I think,
is.
I think it's actually it's a big loss for Philly.
yeah.
It would
I
have
think
been
it
good
is.
to keep him, but he was
Yeah.
too good to
Jared McCain's the backup now.
right. Well, no, DeAnthony. Well, Jared McCain might start,
Yeah.
so we'll see what happens. Bless you.
Thank you.
How am I the sick one and you're the one that sneezed? That's crazy. Any other quick stuff? We got Aaron Holiday's back on the Rockets. Damn, 2 years. Okay, that's like $10 million for Aaron Holiday's nuts. That's actually Bronny James's NBA draft comparison is Aaron Holiday.
Aaron Holiday.
Yeah.
That's sad.
It's very sad.
That's crazy, right?
If it was
Bronny,
Drew, if it was
look
Drew
at me,
Holiday,
Bronny, look at me. Prove them wrong. Thank you.
if it was Drew Holiday, it'd be a lot better.
That's what he
Yeah.
said. He said he compares his game to Drew Holiday, Derrick White, those guys.
Derrick White was, yeah. Next, the Chicago Bulls have agreed to a 3-year, $27 million deal with Jalen Smith.
Yeah, that's the
He's a
Maybe-
highly coveted bench player
Yeah.
in the NBA right
I would hope that this means Vooch gets traded because he should be starting.
He will get traded. Low key, though, I kind of see Jalen Smith getting moved in February.
Yes.
I'm not going to lie.
Yes.
Someone like Dallas is going to give up like a couple picks and maybe a player. Yeah. Could easily happen. You could easily see that going down. Let's see. The Bucks have agreed to a 1-year deal with DeLon Wright, another underrated bench player.
He was there before.
Yeah, he'll provide some better point guard minutes than Javon Carter.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I think if the Bucks can get their hands on Marcus Smart, I think they're in a lot better shape than usual. But I don't think they can. They're going to probably have to part with one of their main guys, like Middleton.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Wow.
We'll see with that.
They should not do that.
Then I'm so stuffy. It's hard to like breathe and to like speak. The Oklahoma City Thunder have agreed to a 3-year, $87 million contract with Isaiah Hartenstein.
Talk about it, Anthony.
Talk about it, because I know you said that this move would hurt the Knicks big time. And lo and behold, it did. Hence why, by the way, that I don't think the Knicks are a top 3 team in the East.
I just got to say congrats to Zay. Just well-deserved. He's earned every penny. And seeing that contract, now the Knicks have no money in cap space to give him $23 million.
The most they could have offered him per year was 18.1.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Hartenstein goes to another contender, which is the correct move for him.
Yeah.
You know, he'll fit in perfectly with OKC. He brings so much passion.
Yeah.
And that team has passion. The Knicks, they couldn't do anything to bring him back. I think once OG was signed, that was it. They tried. Apparently, it was down to the wire with both of them, but the money wins.
I think you could have brought him back if you didn't trade for Bridges.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
I think you could have.
It was just Nova over him, and that's what happened. You know, they did sign Mitch. Mitch has a big payday himself as well. He got a 4-year deal 2 years ago.
That's a shame.
Yeah. Well, Hartenstein got there a year ago and was significantly better last season than the year
Yeah,
before.
he was supposed to be the backup because
So.
Nerlens Noel got moved. It's sad, but I feel like once OG got signed, we knew it was so much tighter than it was going to be, and we just were in shock if he was going to leave, and he did. They have Mitch now, presumably the starter. He needs to be healthy, and I emphasize needs because he cannot be injured with the same foot every single year or the other foot.
Who's your backup?
Jericho Sims.
Wow.
Sims was a second-round draft pick 2 years ago. He's on
that's interesting.
second-year contract. They're looking to move him apparently because they want to bring in another backup that's better than him, which could be Goga Bitadze, who's not back in Orlando.
Right.
And I know Mo Wagner's still out there.
They're restructuring right now with Orlando. So
Yeah, I know Mo Wagner's out there. I don't know who else they could bring in. Maybe trade for somebody, but
going to have to. Just
it's
scan the
not
market and
looking good
win it.
center depth wise for
Yeah.
them. We'll see. They need center depth. That's they need that because Randall's not playing center. Neither is OG. Hart's not playing center.
He probably could.
He could, but
He probably could do a good job.
I love Hartenstein. It's sad, but I hope he wins there. He's gonna win in OKC. We just got to see how they rebound after this year, and I hope him and Chet work really well together. SGA's there. They're set. I think he went to a much better structured team right now in OKC than us. Okay. And I think that's.
If you think about it, OKC, they're young. They
have draft picks.
They're just starting contending now, and they control their own future.
Yeah.
So it's the perfect situation.
How many years he has over there?
3.
3, but he's probably gonna sign for. Well, I don't know. It depends because I doubt he gets that much money ever again.
No.
Yeah.
So it's just to play kind of like a devil's advocate as far as maybe it is a good thing that he's not back. You did see at the end of the Pacers series, he got exposed a lot on both ends.
Yeah.
So maybe there is room for improvement. Like I said, centers are so replaceable. And low key, looking back on it now, we did talk about the Claxton, Hartenstein dependencies a lot. I wonder if Claxton was willing to take less money, but the Nets overpaying would raise the value of Hartenstein even more, which would incentivize him to take the bag. Because if it was only like a $5 million difference, I think he would have come back to the Knicks. But because it was an $11 million difference,
Yeah.
I
It's hard to
think-
pass that up.
exactly.
Yeah.
You can't leave that money on the table.
And he
You
knows he
idiot.
played a lot better than Claxton did.
True, and also the other thing, it's not like you're taking a bag from Detroit. You're going to a team that has a much better shot at winning a title, in my opinion.
100%. If he went to a team that was rebuilding, I would have said, what is he doing?
Yeah, because I think even without Hartenstein, I would give OKC a better shot to win than the Knicks.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. It's give or take.
I disagree respectfully. But I think
It's
we
give
need
or
an episode just talking about the Nets and Knicks, I think.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. But I love this move for the Thunder.
Yeah.
This is their one thing they couldn't do. They could not rebound to save their life, and they finally have a guy that can do that.
I loved it to OKC. I would have loved it more if it was to Orlando. They would have been probably the unanimous 2 seed behind Boston. They need a center.
I think even with Hartenstein, I would take the Pacers over the Magic.
No.
I think everyone's severely undervaluing Siakam.
No. I think
I think
Orlando clears them with Hartenstein.
I think Indiana is severely underrated. Plus, it's only Paolo's 3rd year in the league. He's got a lot more to learn.
Right.
Yeah, but he's so good.
I think the Pacers are more ready to contend.
But I loved it to OKC, and I mean to Orlando, and I still love it for OKC. They need a center. Chet is not a center.
Ceiling for the T-Hunter.
Top 3.
Yeah, top 3.
Yeah.
Playoff-wise?
Conference finals.
Second round exit.
No.
Really?
Conference finals.
Ooh, okay. I see them falling back a bit in the regular season. I'm going to go top 5. I think their ceiling, they can get to the finals.
Wow.
Yeah, they can. They have so much room.
Or a man proved me wrong that he can play in the playoffs, even without free throws. He had some ethical games.
Yeah.
So, but I think conference finals is fair.
Okay.
But we'll see. It really depends on who they run into,
Yeah.
because that's obviously the most important thing. Next deal. We got a 2-year, $52 million deal with the Pistons and Tobias Harris.
This was written in the stone since I've started talking about it.
He's
We
back,
called
baby.
This one. We called this one.
He is back.
Just a veteran presence they need.
Let me just say, I still don't get the Tobias Harris hate. I just don't. I feel like he has been the scapegoat for the Sixers for everything.
But I think
No,
it's
he's just
it's-
so bad.
It's much respected.
He's
but if
not,
he's if
though.
no,
He
it,
just-
yes,
he did it to
He
himself.
was so bad in Philly.
Bro,
Are you kidding?
he was
So bad.
last year in the Celtics series in Game 7. He was the only one that showed up. He was the only one that came to play in that game.
Yeah, that one game. The rest of the games he didn't show.
He's notoriously outplayed Simmons or Embiid or Harden in elimination games. That's why I never understood Tobias Harris getting the hate he gets.
one of the best players in Detroit, but for a contender, he will not be one of the best players.
Well, maybe he needs to go to a contender that actually can contend. Because I just can't say the Sixers are a contender with Embiid as the first option. Because he hasn't even gotten to the conference finals.
Yeah.
So like, what more do you want? What do you want Tobias Harris to do if your number one option can't score over 15 points in an elimination game? That's kind of my frame of reference with that. Same thing with Maxey. It's like, what do you want Maxey to do? If Maxey's a bad game, but if Embiid doesn't, like, why does Embiid get the benefit of the doubt if he's an MVP? That's where I've been struggling with to understand.
I guess, but it's just the thing. Like Tobias has those games where, in the playoffs specifically, where he will just not show up at all when his team needs him to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Like he'll literally Game 7 against the Knicks.
Right.
Literally shot 0% from the field.
Right.
No points.
Okay.
Like he'll have games like that,
Yeah.
where his team needs him and he just does not even.
Kind of like Clay.
Not really.
Well, Clay went 0 of 10 in the elimination game.
No, but Clay had that one game. That was that one game for Clay. Tobias,
Right, yeah.
This is a regular occurrence for him.
I wouldn't say it's a regular
I
occurrence.
would say so.
I wouldn't. So by that logic, then you're saying it's the same thing for Harden and Embiid
No.
in
it's
elimination
different.
games.
No, it's different because they don't put up 0 points.
Right, but that's the one time he's dropped 0.
Yeah.
Every other time, like last year,
Single
I think
digits.
I think he had like 24 in the Game 7 against the Celtics, and Harden and Embiid finished with a combined like 28.
Okay.
So that's where I think Tobias Harris is a good player. I don't think he's a star, but I think he's a good player that's just been scapegoated, just like Ben Simmons was.
He'll be great for the Pistons. You know.
Yeah.
He will. He's going to fill the Boyan
I
role
agree.
perfectly, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think he's more creative than Boyan. He's a much better defender.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
I just
Boyan's a
don't-
cone.
I don't think he's a winning piece.
I think he's a winning player. I just think he was not in the right situation. I think if he was on the Clippers, I think it would have been a lot better for him. If he was anywhere else, to be honest with you, outside of playing with Embiid.
Okay.
I think playing with Embiid is a very tough thing to do. So,
We'll see how Paul George handles it.
exactly, yeah,
right,
we'll see.
right.
And that leads us into the big move that dropped at 3 a.m. last night that Paul George has agreed to a max contract. I think it was a 4-year, $212 million contract with the Philadelphia 76ers. So essentially, the Clippers traded away SGA and a boatload of picks just to lose PG for nothing.
Wow.
They lost for the Clippers, but
Thanks.
Philly wins.
Essentially, just like with the Warriors, they traded Poole for nothing because they waived Chris Paul.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is clearly an upgrade for the Clippers. What do you think? Sorry, the Sixers.
I mean, PG's getting his money. I know that. He's had like a bunch of max deals the past couple seasons, few seasons, so he's getting his money, that's for sure. Other than that, I think the Sixers, I don't know if this is going to work. Going to be honest.
We have to see.
Yeah.
I don't know, but at the same time, PG can play off ball. So like he doesn't need to have the ball in his hands in order for him to be effective. So I think it could work. There is a chance because Embiid is going to be dribbling that basketball and Maxey as well.
Yeah.
So there's a chance, but I don't know.
It's a weird fit.
Yeah.
Part of me likes it, part of me doesn't, considering now you've got a whole team that just can't get it done in the playoffs. I mean, we saw PG famously shrink in the bubble. He got better the year afterwards, but he hasn't really been in that situation as of late because clearly the last 2 times he's played the playoffs, Kawhi's been injured, unfortunately. So it's hard to kind of make that judgment, but I kind of put the Sixers in the same boat as Milwaukee and New York. I need to see it to believe it because right now, it looks cool on paper, but I've seen there's other teams that have made moves and have actually proved themselves to do good in the playoffs. So you just really haven't seen that domination of Philly unless they're playing a bum team in the first round.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
the better fit for him was Golden State.
I don't know if I really like that fit either.
I like that fit.
I think the better fit was
Personally.
Golden State, 100%.
I do like that
What
fit.
about Orlando?
No. You want to get younger, not older.
True. Or just back in Indiana.
No.
Nah.
Could have
Doesn't
worked.
fit.
If they had lost Siakam, they would have went all in
Yeah.
for PG.
Yeah.
But I think Siakam's a better fit for them.
I think Philly just wants to roll out this new big 3. They needed another player, like I said, because Maxey and Embiid couldn't do it all.
Yeah.
And PG's, I guess, what they landed on.
You need Maxey needs to step up a lot more. I know he had a great season, but in games where he's not on, he is just terrible.
He had a great playoffs though, so that's
Yeah.
good to see for the future.
Zach Zarba prevented that man from succeeding, man. Such a shame.
He's one of the fastest players I've seen
Yeah.
playing basketball.
Just a high motor. He's always going at 100.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Ceiling-wise for Philly?
Top 5.
Top 4.
I'll say top 3 ceiling-wise
yeah.
because Embiid's good in the regular season. If he's healthy, they'll be really good.
So playoff wise,
Second round.
No, conference final.
conference final.
I genuinely don't think Embiid will ever play in a conference finals game.
Well,
Ever.
that'll change the next
conference finals.
We'll have to see. So, if they're playing the Knicks, then maybe.
year.
So we'll see.
Yeah. Okay.
But next, little quick one. Batum's back on the Clippers. 2-year, $9.6 million.
I don't know what Clippers are doing.
Might as well bring him
Batum.
back.
Yeah.
Fourth quarter, Batum is a beast.
Yeah.
You did
Nice
see that.
He's a nice
Yeah, I remember that.
veteran.
We got a big contract extension, a 5-year, $204 million DRE for Tyrese Maxey and the Philadelphia 76ers.
Just saw it coming.
Love it.
Just how to get it done.
Deserved.
Yeah.
So both Kentucky guards, Maxey and Quickley.
That we saw play.
Exactly. Yeah, we
Big
saw them
deals.
both play. Both got paid.
Yeah.
Both are going to be him.
Congratulations.
And we got the big one that happened today, this afternoon. Klay Thompson is a Dallas Maverick. The deal's not final yet. The Warriors are still trying to figure out the salaries and everything. But as of right now, Klay is getting, I think, a 3-year, $50 million contract. And all we know is that he's a Mav, and the Mavericks are sending Josh Green over to Charlotte in a 3-team deal. We don't know yet what the Warriors are getting back besides picks. But what do we think of this new big 3? Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, and Klay Thompson.
First of all, I would not call it a big 3.
It's not. Clay is coming off the bench.
Yeah.
He could
Klay.
start at 3.
No.
I don't like it.
No.
I don't like it.
He's coming off the bench.
Undersized and he's a little older, so he should come off the bench. He'll still get plenty of playing time coming off the bench.
He's coming off the bench.
And I think they, it's good that they added shooting because they didn't have much shooting outside of the 2 guards.
No.
So it's good that they added Klay. because Derrick Jones and Josh Green, good defenders, but they cannot shoot for their lives. So I'm happy they added Clay.
Yeah.
And Clay could also defend as well. So he can do both.
Yeah. I think it's a win now. They were in win now, and this is a piece they need. Naji Marshall is that defensive replacement for Derrick Jones. PJ's back, Gaff's back. You have a nice veteran presence off the bench with him. Lively's going to go into his sophomore year. Green's going to be gone. Tim Hardaway's gone. Quentin Grimes is a trade guy they got for THJ. They just, like I said, they needed depth. They got the depth. And that's what's going to take them far, I think. They'll be back to conference semis.
Yeah, I agree with
Not conference finals.
I don't think they're making a run again.
Conference
I
semis.
Yeah. I think there's a big durability issue with Luka.
If Luka gets injured,
Maybe he comes back better than ever.
Obviously,
super motivated.
Obviously,
I doubt it,
If
'cause they're playing in the
If
Olympics.
Luka's injured, Clay is sliding into 2, Kyrie going into the 1st.
Yeah. Maybe this is insurance for if the Mavs ever trade Kyrie. There's your backup.
Yeah.
Because I know Kyrie still wants to play with Bron before he retires. They want that reunion to happen. But I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
That's a Lakers trade. Yeah.
Yeah. But aside from that, it's been kind of it. It's been, I'm not going to lie, very anticlimactic free agency. I expected to see just an influx of Woj bombs, but really didn't get any.
Yeah. We're waiting
slow.
we're waiting on DeRozan.
Yep.
We're
DeRozan.
waiting on
Levine could get traded at any
a
point.
lot of trades we're waiting on.
Yeah, we're still waiting to see.
Signings, I think, let me pull up the list. I don't know who else. I know DeRozan is the Laker talk.
Yeah. I think this just all ties into the new CBA. I think a lot of teams are afraid to spend. And
Yeah.
that's why it's going
let
to
me
prevent
see.
defending champions from repeating. And that's why we're seeing a boring ass fucking.
Yeah. Of course, we're waiting for LeBron's extension.
Oh, we know it's going to happen, though.
DeRozan, we're waiting on. And then just a lot of middle of the pack guys: Gary Trent, Tyus Jones, Miles Bridges, Isaac Okoro, Markelle Fultz, Malik Beasley, Caleb Martin,
Russell Westbrook.
Buddy Hield, Russell Westbrook. That's it. After DeRozan, it's a drop off to all of the role guys.
I can't even put DeRozan up in his own category anymore. He's been piss poor.
Yeah, if he goes to a Lakers team, he's going to be even under more pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if DeRozan and LeBron unite?
Can't see.
Because DeRozan freezing up caused LeBronto to happen. So now they'll be together. That'd be cool.
No, I can't see it.
But yeah, as far as that's been everything that's happened. Anything that happens afterwards, we'll talk about next week.
Yes.
So, any final thoughts?
No.
No, we covered everything so far.
All right, let's get into the final segment. All right, into the final segment. It's time for shower thoughts. This is the segment, for those that don't know, where basically one of us will ask a question and it draws up some debate, some critical thinking, some confusion. It actually does wind up giving some good dialogue. That's usually every third segment we upload is our shower thoughts, at least one part of it, because usually it's a 2-part question. So obviously I did last episode. If you guys want to go check it out, last episode links in the description below. This week it is Antoine's turn. So Antoine, what do you got for us today?
I have a interesting question about tanking.
Ooh.
Since we seen the Mikal Bridges trade happen, we know the Nets are clearly in no area of contending for next season and are probably tanking for a top pick, regardless of the draft lottery could give them not the number 1 overall pick. And we've seen tanking happening with Atlanta, the Wizards, of course Wemby with the Spurs. Do you think the NBA and the Players Association should they install some tanking punishments for teams that are clearly not fielding NBA quality starting fives in their regular season games and are just benching their guys that are stars like the Nets? We have a Cam Thomas, he's getting benched at the end of the season just to lose games. Wizards are benching their guys to lose games to get a higher pick. Same thing with the Bulls. They're benching their guys. Should there be punishments which, of course, lower their odds in the lottery for the number 1 overall pick? Or they just completely lose that pick for that season?
I'm going to let you start it off.
It's a loaded question.
Yeah, I'm going to let you start. I need to rest my voice for a bit.
So A part of the criteria, I think, that you said for understanding which teams are tanking is benching star players. I think if you're doing that, you should absolutely 100% lose your opportunity to get that number one lottery pick.
Are you saying they should have their odds increased so they don't have that high probability, or they just lose that pick overall?
I think lose the pick completely because
not even an odd shifter.
I think there should be a huge punishment if you're not playing your best players, which fans come to watch play. Then you should be punished, straight like that.
Right.
And if that's a way that would incentivize teams and coaches to put their best players in the game, then so be it. I think that's a good way to,
Should they lose more than just that year's pick, including the
No,
future, or just that year?
Just that 1 year. Just that 1 year.
Okay.
I think
Just
that should do
keep
enough.
it fair.
Yeah.
Just for that year, because we don't know what the future holds after that season.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of tanking. Never. Because, I know that the players on the team, they don't want to lose. They're still players. Obviously, the organization wants to do their best because they know they don't have an opportunity to win in the playoffs, whatever. They want to do their best to get that pick. Understandable. Completely understandable. But the players themselves, they want to win. You know what I'm saying? Like, they feel like they are good enough to win games.
Yeah, and
You know what I mean?
You're also saying that the players that show up are not going there to lose.
Exactly.
So they're not showing up to their
Exactly.
job to lose.
And now if the coach or the executives, the higher-ups of the team are basically giving up on the guys that they have on the team, that's just bad. It's distasteful to me. Like, to give up on the players that you have on your team, those players those players themselves individually, they feel like they're good enough. They're in the NBA. They feel they're good enough to compete, and you're giving up on them is distasteful to me. And not only that, like I said before, the fans and everything else that goes into that. So that's my view on that.
Yeah. The short answer is yes, there already are punishments for doing those sort of activities. We know the Mavs got fined 2 years ago or 2 seasons ago when they got Kyrie. They had no hope of making the playoffs, and the pick was top 10 protected that they gave the Knicks. So they just completely tanked the last 5 games. Luka didn't play, and the Mavs got punished for it. Mm-hmm. But it's a soft punishment.
What do they do?
They fined them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't take the pick away or anything. They wound up getting Derrick Lively out of that.
Yeah.
So, look, I mean, there's 2 kinds of tanking. There's 3, I'd say. There's the consistent way, there's the bad way, and there's the good way. And I'll give examples for each. The bad way is the Sam Hinkie Sixers, just absolutely putting out just a shit product of basketball and intentionally losing games, making dumb trades, just doing everything possible to make your team lose, not even give you a shot at winning.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I'm a big believer in basketball karma. I think that's why the Sixers haven't won a championship, is because of that. It's just like the most distasteful, the most egregious, not even trying to hide it, just way of tanking, essentially winning 10 games of basketball a year. You have the consistent way of tanking, which is the way most teams do it. I think the way that OKC and San Antonio have done it, just, having your star players and just a bunch of underdeveloped or just not good enough players around them that clearly don't play well together. You don't have vets. So essentially that's kind of what happens. They're just not good enough. And you don't really, they're intentionally tanking, but it doesn't seem like it is based on the product on the floor. Right? You saw San Antonio win some really high thriller games this season, mainly the one against Phoenix earlier on when they won at the buzzer, and OKC back when they were tanking with SGA as well. Yeah. It was kind of the same thing. And then you have the good tank. This is why I love Danny Ainge, because you saw 2 seasons ago the Jazz were the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. They started off the year 28-4 and finished the year as the 13th seed in the West.
Wow.
It's just you quickly just make your statement, Markkanen becomes an all-star, already get the value up, and then you tank for your early pick, and they got Keontae George as a result.
Wow.
So that's for me personally. I like the concept of tanking. I just do not like it's about the way you tank.
Okay.
The way you tank needs to be, and really only should be 2 years. because you tank for 2 years, you get your generational talents, i.e. Brown and Tatum, although obviously they didn't tank, we did, and they got our pick, but you get your 2 generational talents, and then you start drafting, around fit. And that's kind of what you need to do. As far as punishments goes for tanking, I do think that there should be more strict punishments. I do think lowering the odds in the lottery should be warranted, because if you're not trying to hide that you're tanking, it's one thing if you're tanking and you're just a bad team, but if you're not trying to hide it and you're just, if the Spurs just sat Wemby out for the last 20 games of the season, they should get punished for that. Mm-hmm. That's my point of view with it.
Okay.
Because the concept of tanking needs to happen, because if they're not, then, you're really putting the lottery odds in your favor, because either you're San Antonio and you strategically tank the 1 year you win the lottery, or you're the Pistons and you get the number 1 odds 2 years in a row and you get the 5th pick. Mm-hmm. Or same thing with the Knicks when they were trying to get Zion. They wound up falling back to 3. Mm-hmm. So it's all important. There's a lot of optics with tanking. So that's kind of my sort of point of view as far as that goes. I do think teams need to be held accountable more, especially now in this new era of the NBA, where the league is uber talented. And yeah, you're going to get like a generational talent every now and then, number 1, but like the top 5 picks, you're good either way. So I'm more curious to see what you think about this.
Ooh. I think if you're sitting your star players for the remainder of the season is definitely warranted for a punishment. I don't think a fine is. You could find a team that's not taking a chunk out of their.
Yeah, they're billionaires. They you don't care.
If you're starting to take away draft capital and lowering odds, then they're going to open eyes like, all right, we need to stop doing this. We're jeopardizing our future and what we have. I think Tyler put it on the 3 separate ways pretty well. The Jazz started off immaculate and then fell off. So
how did they fall off, the Jazz specifically? And why would you call that a good tank?
It's a good tank because essentially you're not trying to hide the fact, you're hiding the fact that you're tanking, right?
How?
When the Jazz, well, think about it this way. When the Jazz were 28-4, it was like these guys could contend for a championship. And then they just really quietly, just gradually fell down the table. And
you think they did that purposely?
Oh, absolutely, purposely. Danny Ainge always has a plan, and he's always playing the long game. And not only did you wind up getting your top 10 pick, you also got the value stupidly high for Lauri Markkanen that you're going to probably get a minimum of 6 picks back for him. Mm-hmm. And they just slowly fell off, and you just kind of look like, what happened to the Jazz? Like, you just that's the best way to tank. You have success, not just your bottom from the start.
Right.
And that can also have like the Rockets we saw 2 years ago had no vets. They had a lot of problems off the court, and it's not good for your future. Obviously, they managed to get a good coach in the end of it, but for a lot of teams, like with the Nets now, we really need to make sure this tank is the best way possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, the Wizards and the Hawks. I mean, the Hawks were great. They just fell off so bad. You can't really call them tanking because their roster was so talented.
Well, drafting also plays a big factor, right? Mm-hmm. If you're the Wizards and you're tanking, you don't draft Johnny Davis. Like,
yes,
that's where things come into play. Like, I think Charlotte hit with Brandon Miller.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think, like I said, when you tank, you really need to maximize your tank.
Yep.
It's one thing to tank, but it's another thing to actually finish the job.
Yeah.
And that's drafting your guys.
Yeah.
You can't fumble your draft picks. You just simply can't. That's why Detroit's been so poor, because they've been still development rather than drafting around Cade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Charlotte's a watch next year for tanking because obviously their roster is nowhere near with LaMelo competing. If they sit Brandon Miller for the rest of the year, that's going to be a punishment waiting for them, which I would hope. Same thing with Mark Williams. And then outside of those guys, you got nothing.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. But, if it's clear, blatant, and you're seeing just these guys they're putting out there, not even or 2-way guys or 10-day contracts, there's got to be some investigating. But
for sure.
If they're still competing and putting out their guys and wanting to win towards the end of the season, then they'll be fine. Yeah. But if you're fidgeting around the rules, then you need to have some type of punishment that's not fine related. That's actually you're losing something of worth to your franchise for the off season.
Right.
or just maybe giving some. I don't think they can make anything else more than for draft wise than odds shifting, or they lose that pick completely.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just Adam Silver's NBA. I think at this point, because I think David Stern was a lot more strict with everything.
He was more stern.
Yeah,
There you go.
full pun intended. But obviously now, Adam Silver is a lot more player oriented. He
Yes.
really is,
Yes.
all for player empowerment and everything like that. And look, he said himself, he doesn't like when teams tank. Like, especially when everyone was tanking for Wemby, it was egregiously bad.
Yeah.
Because we all know how good Wemby is. But, I think the next couple of years, you're going to see some really egregious tanking from Brooklyn, from Chicago, from Utah.
Yes.
You're going to
For
see it
Cooper.
all. For Cooper Flag,
For other guys.
for other guys. I know 2026 is going to be a good draft.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting, to say the least. But yeah, any follow-up questions? Any final thoughts on this?
No.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with that brings us to the end of episode 12 of the Floor Spacer podcast. We've done the dozen. How we feeling?
Very nice.
Rejuvenated.
These recording sessions are definitely tiring.
Yes.
Once we get better equipment, we can just record these all in once, and we
Yeah.
can just segue in. It'll be a lot easier.
Yes.
So, but is that time in the video? Gio, what is the word for the lovely people to comment that are still with the flow of the podcast?
Russ.
The word is
I said Russ.
rest.
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 Get some rest.
Get
That's
some
fine.
rest.
I like that.
Gio is tired, and I
Yeah.
do not blame him. I am also
that's fine.
very tired.
Yeah.
But yeah, comment. I forgot the word.
Rest.
Rest.
Rest. Yeah, I definitely need some
Rest.
sleep.
Yeah. Woke
Yeah.
up early and I go to sleep late, so I need that. That's what I need right now.
Exactly. Yeah. Comment rest.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously, next week we should have some more free agency signings, maybe some big trades that happen. I'm hoping the Clay trade finalizes, the Mikal trade finalizes, the
Everything.
Dejounte trade finalizes. All of that should happen. We have a plan for next episode that I'll have a plan. I'll let these guys know, obviously, later on. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. Last time I checked, we were at 1,331 subs. At the time of recording right now, we are on 1,332. We gained a sub since we started filming.
Thank you, Jimmy, out in Utah.
No way.
Thank you, Jimmy, out in Utah.
Jimmy
Bro.
in Utah, shout out you.
Thank you, Timmy in Wyoming.
Or was it like a public sub or just a random person?
I'm just guessing.
Oh,
Whoever that
okay.
person, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. Thank you, Kyle Filipowski.
Yeah, thank you, Rashid in Alaska or whatever. But yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell. That way you're notified every single time we upload, which is every single day at around 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah, be sure to check out all our socials. I'm also going to put Kev's in the descriptions as well. Be sure to go check Kev out. Shout out to him for pulling up to the studio. Let us know who you guys want to have on the show, whether it's someone we know or an NBA player or someone in the media that one of us might know or anything. Flood their DMs. Tell them to come on the Floor Spacer podcast. We are welcoming all guests, whether it's in person or over Zoom or whatever.
Yes.
Be sure to follow our socials as well, which are down here. Obviously, go follow Gio's Twitter. I'm going to mention that. I'm going to milk it every single day.
When we get to 100K subscribers, I'm deleting Twitter.
You see, it's a majority rules with the three of us, and we
Why?
object. So you
Stop
cannot.
it.
I'm
Why are you
Twitter,
deleting
bro.
it?
I think you know why.
Yeah, we're not going to talk.
Just block the accounts.
Gio's having trouble with the bots on Twitter, essentially.
Nah.
But
I think this is just shout out to Elon.
Yo, shout out
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey. You got married to Olivia Culpo.
shout out
Christian.
shout out Christian McCaffrey. But yeah, also make sure to follow our pod socials as well, at Floor Spacer Pod on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and the Floor Spacer Podcast on Spotify. If you are on Spotify, be sure to follow us on there. Give us a 5-star rating. Answer the poll. We're starting to get some more traction on Spotify too, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So,
I love that.
and yeah, and we have our friend's wedding this weekend, which should be lots of fun. Cannot wait for it.
Maybe we could film some Floor Spacer Instagram footage. Maybe just ask people some
Oh
questions.
yeah, like some interview questions.
Yeah,
that would be
cool.
cool.
Random ask questions. We pull
Yeah.
up games. We just pull up random people at his wedding that know basketball and just say,
Yeah.
something,
Just anything.
just anything.
That'd be cool.
So, but yeah, essentially, I'll have my beard trimmed by then. So this is last week of caveman me for a while. So, and yeah, episode 13 awaits next week. So, any final thoughts from you guys before we get out of here? Nothing. Man's very few words.
I love Hartenstein. Thank
Yes.
you for everything.
And yeah,
Be in our hearts.
we hope you guys all enjoyed this episode. We hope you all enjoyed. Obviously, thank you all for watching. We love you all endlessly, and as always, we'll see you all next Wednesday.
Let's go.